would she kill him after the election?
No.
She needs the vote.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, March 23rd, 2014. It's time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 602.
This is No Agenda.
Calling CQ on 12 meters, which is wide open in FEMA Region 6, Kilo Fox 5, Sierra Lima, November. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I'm reading the tweets of Thomas Edison, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Really, what does Tom have to say?
I failed my way to success.
Okay. All righty then. All righty. Get everything all set here. Well, there we are. Jean-Claude, another show, ready to go. And, I'm so happy to see what happened in Turkey.
I actually have a background clip on that.
Well, let me play your backgrounder clip, and I'll tell you why I'm so happy. Ah, yes, I see it here. I had a backgrounder too, but we'll play yours.
Many Twitter users in Turkey logging on to the social media website got this message. It reads, "The protection measure has been taken for this website." The state's telecommunications regulator, TIB, says its decision was based on 4 court orders against Twitter. The government says Twitter has ignored previous court orders to remove some web links. The decision came just hours after Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan warned to wipe out the social media website.
Wipe it out!
Can you imagine there are international conspiracies? Twitter, Mwitter. We have a court order now.
By the way, this was a common theme where in America we would say Twitter Schmitter or Schwitter. In Turkey you say Twitter Mwitter.
I guess.
Yeah, I found that to be quite interesting.
We will wipe out all of these. The international community can say this, can say that. I don't care at all. Everyone will see how powerful the Republic of Turkey is.
The deputy prime minister says the move was necessary.
We took this decision as a last resort. These are not good things, but if laws are violated by breaching private life, at that point we have to do something and act.
Some people are still able to log on to Twitter, including President Abdullah Gül. In some of his tweets, he wrote, "Only individual internet pages should be blocked if a court ruled that an individual's privacy had been violated. I hope the current block would not last long." But that is not going well with many here.
It's definitely not a solution, because that makes the people more angry, more politically active. So I think it's not a very smart reaction.
This was very interesting to me for a number of reasons. One, of course, we've been tracking the Automania, as we call it here on the No Agenda show, for several months now. But also, the way this so-called ban or block was instituted was done by DNS, the domain name service, which some people understood and a lot of people didn't understand. And there's some...
if you think about it, why would anybody care or care to understand?
Well, no.
I mean, you, me, people that listen to the show probably.
Well, what's interesting is that throughout Istanbul and other places in Turkey, graffiti was being spray painted with a different DNS IP address to use.
Yeah, mostly the Google one.
That is the part that bothers me the most. And I'm seeing it in the chat room right now. People saying, "Oh, you got to do 8.8.8.8." This is very, very bad.
Yeah, it bothered me too.
So for those who haven't been following along with this conversation, I've been advocating for using the OpenNIC project, which is a different type of it's a DNS layer that replicates what is out there but cannot be hijacked by any government. You could even run your own DNS on your laptop if you think about it. It's really not all that hard. But for the typical user, yeah. And it's interesting, John, because this report that you had really parroted. There's this other group that all of a sudden is in the news. Let me see. The name of this group is the... hold on a second. What is this? Well, it'll be announced in this. This is from the BBC. And this is one of these NGOs that all of a sudden crops up. And there's this really Well, you'll hear this woman who's speaking. I believe she's from Turkey, or she certainly is the Turkish authority, and she's very glib, very, very glib about all this. And stupid Turkey, because of course we know that many countries, certainly the United States, use non-governmental organizations and social media networks like Twitter and Facebook to start crap and stir stuff up, and this is definitely what happened in Egypt.
Today, Turkish users of Twitter, including the country's president, are flouting a government ban on the social network. Twitter's been blocked in Turkey since Thursday evening, shortly after the Prime Minister threatened to eradicate the platform, following critical tweets about a major corruption scandal. For more, I spoke with Emily Parker, a digital diplomacy advisor at the New America Foundation.
The New America Foundation, the digital diplomacy advisor. This is not a good outfit.
Here we go again with the. Well, I don't even know if we could categorize as an NGO, but probably.
Oh yeah, it's an NGO.
This is like the bane of our existence.
What was the name again? I'm looking for it in the show notes. I know
New America Foundation.
Yeah, look at them. You should look them up. It's pretty funny. New America Foundation. You'll see the board. You'll recognize people. We'll play the rest of this clip while we're looking that up.
Emily, has this attempt by Turkey's government to block Twitter been an own goal?
An own goal? Really? Here you go. Our funding of this New America Foundation, in the $1 million plus category, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Eric and Wendy Schmidt, and the U.S. Department of State. Hello, people. This is a shill from the United States government pretending to be someone on the scene with information.
It seems to have completely backfired up to now. In fact, after the Twitter ban, there was a huge increase of usage of Twitter use.
She can barely contain her glee. And this is very significant that this is paid for.
You should do that. You work on that laugh.
This woman is paid for indirectly by the U.S. Department of State, or directly by the U.S. Department of State, who I would like to point out gave a green card to the main opponent of the Prime Minister, Erdogan. That would be Fethullah Gulen, who was sitting in a compound in Pennsylvania and is largely responsible for a lot of this pushback, including his support of the president of Turkey, Gül.
From people in Turkey, so people found ways to get around the blockage, as they do all over the world.
Now listen to how she says you can get around the blockage. At no point does she mention DNS.
In Turkey's case, for example, people used virtual private networks, which is one way to get around a blocked site like Twitter, or I heard that they were using Tor, or Twitter, the company, was actually sending...
This is interesting. Here is the Department of State shill. He's saying use Tor.
How does that work?
I don't know if you can use Twitter through Tor. Maybe. It may work perfectly. But she's not giving the obvious solution, which is changing your DNS IP address and not to Google. But that is the obvious solution, and she's not handing that one out, which I find, obviously suspicious.
Messages to people in Turkey to instruct them how to use Twitter by their mobile phones.
Well, even Turkey's president is using Twitter despite his own government's ban. Doesn't this show how ineffective it is?
It absolutely shows how ineffective it is. There was evidence of people in the government using Twitter, and the whole thing has actually become a bit of a farce.
Now, the White House and the State Department criticized this encroachment on free speech today, but do you think Turkey cares at all?
No, I don't think they care, and I don't think they've been very strategic, or they wouldn't have done this in the first place. But I think what they're going to find, as other autocratic governments have found, is that this just doesn't work. And in fact, it seems that people are now flocking to Twitter, and people are getting angrier. And what other governments have found is that...
Here it is, getting angrier.
When you block social media, it makes people even more inclined to come to the streets, which is exactly what the Turkish government does not want.
And it's exactly what the U.S. State Department does want, apparently. That's why you're flaunting it.
Has an autocratic government ever successfully banned Twitter?
No, I mean, not completely. They've definitely successfully blocked it, but they've not been able to block it completely. So yes, it hasn't been successful. Take China, for example.
Oh yeah, blah. I find it sad that the BBC, of course, it is the government mouthpiece of the Gitmo Nation East, that they don't actually bring an expert in who explains how it works and how you can. And my goodness, they had people literally spray painting alternative DNS IP addresses in graffiti and passing out flyers, how to change your DNS. That is what really went on. But, of course, the State Department shill here from the New America Foundation will not cop to that with your naval-funded Tor network funded by the U.S. government. Oh, yeah, let's use that. I
can't agree more.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, the whole thing is, I got disappointed when I was listening to, so I turned on the Colbert Report. And he had Ronan on.
Oh, this is Sinatra's kid.
Yeah, Sinatra's kid. And when they didn't, I don't have it on this clip, but when they brought him out.
The winner of a Cronkite Award.
Yeah. They brought him out to the tune of Fly Me to the Moon or something like that.
That's fun. That's funny.
It was funny.
I like that, yeah.
There was no mention of it during the interview, but I could tell that Colbert didn't really like this guy. And he dropped a couple of interesting bombs. I didn't know that Ronan, they were talking about Ronan Farrow, the wunderkind at MSNBC, who's winning all these awards for being on the air 3 days. And this is worth listening to because there's a couple of things in there that are unique.
All caps. I bet it is. But speak for all young people. Don't you think that if there's really going to be a revolution in this country, we can't actually just be tweeting and blogging and phoning? That people actually have to get to the streets and throw bricks through windows?
Yeah, seriously? Actually, yes.
Yeah, actually, I do. I'm serious. It doesn't have to be some shattering of the system, and I hope my side wins as opposed to your side. But doesn't there have to be some sort of shatter? The Tea Party came close, but they didn't get violent as much as they were accused of it. Don't you think there has to be some sort of violent revolution in America for anything to get better?
Sure, just blood in the streets. That's what my show is advocating for.
No, but don't you think that? Don't you think just talking about having a different kind of television show?
You make a very important point. Look, I was in charge of Arab Spring policy when I ran this office. The Office of Global Youth Issues.
Wait. What? Colbert picks up on this, I hope.
For the Arab Spring.
For all mess ups in the Arab Spring. Yes, I ran the Arab Spring.
What?
Yeah, I was in. Now, Farrow worked in the State Department, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And he said he was in charge of the Arab Spring policy. It's all coming together now.
Revolution in America for anything to get better.
Sure, just blood in the streets. That's what my show is advocating for.
No, but don't you think that? Don't you think just talking about having a different kind of television show?
You make a very important point. Look, I was in charge of Arab Spring policy when I ran this office. The Office of Global Youth Issues.
For the Arab Spring.
For all mess ups in the Arab Spring. Yes, I ran the Arab Spring. No, I ran the Office of Global Youth Issues at the State Department, which was our sort of youth revolutions think tank and policy fomenting shop. I'm not saying everything we did worked.
Hold on. Well, I can't Google fast enough. Office of Global Youth Policy?
Yeah, and he says he uses the word, this is the Office of Fomenting. Did you catch that?
As opposed to fomenting?
Fomenting, fomenting.
Fomenting is stirring shit up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? Let me hear that again. Wow. I had forgotten about this kid's background, and now I understand why MSNBC is creaming all over him. It's obvious now. They're like, oh, finally we got someone from the Home Office in.
Policy fomenting shop.
Policy fomenting shop?
Policy fomenting shop.
This guy is a spook.
It was at the State Department, which was our sort of youth revolutions think tank and policy fomenting shop.
Wow. Nice one, John. It's too early to give you a clip of the day, but whew.
I'm not saying everything we did worked, but we created it partly because there was this story.
Look, I mean, there's Egypt, which we failed at, but we tried.
Story going around of social media is a panacea and Twitter will save us. And in some way, Twitter and Facebook will obscure the fact that sometimes we as a country backed the bad guys and sometimes people don't like us for that. And there's a long history of that and a long history of being out of touch with my generation. I think I feel it. I think Americans around the country feel it. I think people around the world feel it. You are absolutely right that no amount of blogging or tweeting will supplant real action in the real world. And it can't also cover up a lack of real policy action that caters to a generation. So I think that these are all important tools to communicate, but they are not a replacement.
No, as I said, you finished high school.
Oh, yes.
11.
Oh, yes. Very good.
High school 11. You finished college at 15. You went off to law school at 16. You got a TV show at 26. When is your midlife crisis?
The 30s. The golden 30s, my retirement era.
Well, Ronan, thank you so much for joining me.
Right.
So, as a spook, he graduated high school at 11. Graduated college from what was it, 15?
Is that really true? Is that really true? Yeah. Graduate age?
I know people that have this sort of thing happen. They are prime candidates for intelligence agencies.
And he's a Yaley. He went to Yale Law School. Hello, Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
But listen
because
to this.
The agency, these kids that do this, and there's been a number of them, and I knew one.
He's MK Ultra.
Well, they're definitely spotted early because they can't be socialized properly because they're not with their peers. So they're just kind of the stupid kid that happens to be smart, and he's in your grade, and you're 18, and he's 11.
He's the chosen one, John.
And so he's the chosen one.
He is. Listen to this.
Antichrist, for all you know.
2001 to 2009, he was UNICEF spokesperson for youth. Advocate for children, Darfur region. Okay, that's a part with Angelina Jolie, another MK Ultra. Let's see. During this time, he made joint trips to the Darfur region of Sudan with his mother. Yeah, of course, Mia, who we know is. There's only one letter difference between Mia and Sia. She's the UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. I'm sorry. Then he was part of the Genocide Intervention Network. Let's see, Darfur. Here, during his time at Yale Law School, he interned at the law firm Davis, Polk & Wardell. Is that you?
I'm sorry.
What is that?
My mic stand squeaks.
Oh, okay. All right, in 2009, he joined...
Let's look them up.
Well, check it out. In 2009, he joined the Obama administration with his appointment as Special Advisor for Humanitarian and NGO Affairs in the Office of Special Representative for Afghanistan and Pakistan, part of a team of officials recruited by Richard Holbrooke. There you go. Wow. This kid is, Oh, wow. 2011, appointed by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Special Advisor for Global Youth Issues, Director of State Department's Office of Global Youth Issues. And what else did he do? Co-chaired the working group with senior USAID staff member David Barth. Wow. I had no idea that he had so much history. I didn't know about the graduating at 15. That's insane. But
yeah,
how
college.
Yeah, but why does he come across as so dumb on this show?
He actually comes across, and if you notice him, if you listen to this thing closely, he has picked up Rachel Maddow's cadence.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of these Zelig-like guys. Mm-hmm. Coincidentally, of course, Woody Allen raised him. A Zelig-like guy who's a kind of a...
He's a Manchurian candidate is what he is.
Yeah, but he's, he becomes what now he's a talk show host. So he's got the Maddow, the talk show on MSNBC. So he's got the Maddow cadence. And if you read a lot of these self-help books by guys like Tony Robbins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I've read a lot of, actually, yes.
You really?
Tony Robbins? Yeah, I got all his Power Talk tapes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, he's...
you have the power to change at this very moment, John. All you have to do is just think, if you're hurt, if you're sad, all you have to do is think, I'm not going to be that anymore. And you're not. You have the power. It is within you.
Yeah, I know. I read a lot of that bullshit from that guy, too.
I liked it. I like it.
It's entertaining. But one of the things he talks about is essentially his basic thesis.
This is why you're still cranky. I'm a happy man.
One of the things he wants you to do is be a phony.
No.
Yes, and I'll tell you where that comes from. What part of his thesis that exists right at the beginning. He says if you're with somebody and you go with their pace, act like them. Wear the same color shirt they have. No, that's
not true.
I can get you quote. I can get you quote and page on.
Can I just say one thing? I believe you're talking about if you want that's replicating someone successful and be like them. Not if you're with somebody. No. So you're right. That's
whatever you say. I don't care whether you think Tony Robbins is the greatest thing since sliced bread or not.
No, but I'm agreeing with you. I'm just correcting you on one minor thing. It's not if you want to be with someone. It's if you want to be successful like someone. And you're right. That's what Ronan Farrow's doing with Maddow. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
And so Ronan have been this way since he was a little kid, because if you're 11 years old and a senior in high school, number of things. You're not getting laid.
No.
Everybody thinks you're an idiot or a jerk. They don't like you.
So far, I'm batting 1,000 on me, yes?
And you were in 11.
Well, it started then.
When it's all these things are just negative.
Yeah.
And so you would adapt the policy of trying to mimic those around you as best you can. And you probably, if you started at that early age because you had to survive, I think it would turn you into a very political person. And now the problem I think that he has, and I don't want to, it's not because I don't want to do any gay baiting, is that because I think he's obviously gay. And he was at the recent lesbian gay event.
And they had this is now
he went on and on about
selfie.
how he's not going to discuss his sexual preferences.
Yeah, you don't have to.
And this, I think, is probably harmful to his potential as a politician.
Being gay?
Although there are gay politicians, there's no doubt about it. But he is... we have to watch this guy. I thought so when I first heard about him.
So I think you pointed out to me that it was the gay broadcasters ball or something.
Yeah.
And Don Lemon did a selfie. And this is now the big thing, the celebrity selfie, and we all cram in. And Ronan was there. I'm thinking that he is the perfect politician for the multiculti future. Because it is all LGBTQIAAP. That's exactly what we want in our future for politicians. Because you can't. It's like being black or a woman. You can't attack someone for anything because clearly you hate gays. I think he's.
No, you might be right.
On the
I
fast
could be
track.
wrong on this. I'm looking at more of a traditional track. But in a modern track, you might be absolutely correct, and he may be the missing link. He may be a Manchurian Candidate, by the way, is not a bad analogy, but he is definitely somebody to keep an eye on.
You can't find a single fault with the kid. I mean, he's perfect. And could you be any more American than Frank Sinatra's illegitimate child? It's got everything in it. It's you've got an Oscar-winning mom. This is fantastic.
You got everything you need. A psycho mom.
Psycho Oscar-winning mom. You've Frank Sinatra. I mean, you've got the mob. You've got show business. You've got swagger and swath and all those groovy things. Hell,
I bet you can sing.
You got Jersey blood in you. Hello. What more do you want? This is great. And you're gay. President. Written all over it.
First gay president. Well, actually the second.
Well, yeah. Let me think. 2016,
think about it.
20. He could run. Is it 2024? That could be his year.
Well, here's what's going to happen. Hillary's going to win in 2016.
Yes.
Unless all hell breaks loose and the Democrats get a hold of themselves and find somebody else to beat whoever the Republicans think they can run.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
This guy goes, actually, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, this guy's going back to the White House.
He has, but the path would be he has to do a senatorship somewhere. He has to, maybe he can get Massachusetts. How about that? Don't we own that somehow? Don't the Democrats own
Massachusetts is a shoo-in. Yeah,
they get, like the
Elizabeth Warren could be pulled out of that job.
the Native American Indian.
Yeah, the Native American.
But let's pull the Native American. That's so 2014. Get a gay guy in there. That's perfect.
Well, he's never going to... I would put this in the book. I don't think he's ever going to come out in our lifetime.
I don't think it matters. I just don't.
No, I don't think it matters either. But I don't think he's going to.
In fact, I think it's probably
he may be asexual for all we know.
Well, that's part of the AAP in the LGBTQIAAP. It's asexual is one of the letters. So
yeah.
And that would be fine. He could be. Yeah, he could come out as all kind of. Maybe he's bisexual.
I'm gonna have to start watching his show.
What, the Colbert thing?
No, not Colbert.
What
the
show?
Ronan show on MSNBC.
Oh, the Ronan show. It's unwatchable.
Oh,
because what happened? He's so used to taking direction that he has no real input. So he's a machine, and that's that. I think that if anything, that's the thing that bothers me when I watch him. You see, he's robotic, and he's taking direction. He's very good. He's very good with the IFB. He's very good with talking to people. But the topics are MSNBC stuff. It's like, okay. No. It's nothing like, I mean, he should go to CNN where I heard, I picked up this beautiful ditty.
A chilling new theory is emerging as investigators search the southern Indian Ocean right now. Could deadly battery fumes or an oxygen shortage have actually turned Flight 370 into what some are calling a zombie plane?
Woo!
Our national correspondent Suzanne Malveaux is here in the situation room.
Wait, it gets better.
So what are you finding out?
What are you finding out?
It sounds very ominous here, but this is a theory that could explain why and how this plane went down. It is called the zombie plane scenario, and it has happened before.
The zombie plane scenario. And they call me a conspiracy theorist. Really?
It has happened before.
Well, they're talking about the golfer. Remember his Gulfstream? They either depressurized or something. They all died, and then the plane just ran out of gas. So let me see. Ronan Farrow's and MSNBC show off to a slow start. Let's look at the ratings. And MSNBC already has no ratings because clearly they're not talking about the zombie plane. I mean, that's if you want ratings, you do that. Have you noticed that now? So now we're into day 16. And no, this is great. And now the news networks are doing news stories about them doing the news stories of the plane. And how, well, it's too much. You're just too much. And we'll have an update on the plane right after this.
Yeah.
Farrow.
No, they become self-absorbed.
MSNBC host, here it is. According to 34,000 in the 18 to 49 demo. All right. That is clearly...
Epic fail.
Let's see. 106,000. No. The demo, you're not even cracking 100,000 in the demo. This is not good. And he replaced Andrea Mitchell, the elitist, and she had almost 3 times as much in the same time slot.
She's got some worldly knowledge. I mean, this kid is a kid who, I'm telling you, a kid graduates from high school at the age of 11 is not the kind of kid you're going to go up to and ask him about advice for you. It's a real, I think he's got all kinds of, this is like a prodigy. There's guys who are like these...
Yeah.
These piano players who are ridiculous when they're 4.
Like Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Never mind. His interesting face, though. He's clearly got Sinatra's eyes and kind of Sinatra's mouth, actually.
He's got Sinatra's look, and he's got these great blue eyes.
Yeah, he does. Right. Well, all right. Well, you're right. We have to keep an eye on this guy. Because, before you know it, he will be hero to my friends.
Oh, yeah.
It's another installment of Dinner with the Obots.
That's right, everybody. We had, and I thought it was going to be the last Dinner with the Obots.
Uh-oh.
No. We have one more before the Professor and Marianne leave for California.
Right.
By the way, of course, we discussed whether they might ever want to hang out with me ever again after the last time we discussed them on the show. And one of them was offended.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Who was offended and why?
The professor's wife was offended because I had said the Professor and Marianne, and she felt that she was at least as hot as Ginger.
What?
Yeah.
You're talking about the Gilligan's Island reference?
I had called her the Professor, the Professor and Marianne.
Professor and Marianne, that's funny.
But she seriously was like, I was offended by that. So what do you mean? Well, I think Ginger was hotter. Okay.
Marianne was no slouch.
That's what I said. She was the smart one.
Yeah.
Ginger was, totally doable, but dumb. And Marianne was the perky one. Anyway, she did that. So of all the things we talked about, that was the big offending move I made, apparently. Very interesting, though, John. I've learned yet a lot about. And just for those of you who are new to the program, these are my friends. These are our friends, Ms. Mickey and mine. And we have regular dinners in Austin. They rotate. It's 3 couples, soon to be 2, unless we rotate out to California.
If anybody wants to see visual. Kind of a visual representation of this. Go see the Buñuel movie, The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie.
Oh, what is that? I'm unfamiliar with that.
It's a very famous movie by Louis Buñuel about these people who keep having dinner at each other's houses until they finally machine gun each other. I believe that's how it ends.
I thought you were going to recommend looking at the newsletter where you had a fantastic photo of an Obot.
Oh, yeah. I know. I found the Obot picture.
It was a true Obot. That was really good. So now, for some reason, Miss Mickey and I were half an hour early. This doesn't happen often that Miss Mickey has an entry incorrect in her calendar. So we show up at 6:35, thinking we're fashionably.
Oh, and it's 7 o'clock. There's nothing more annoying to a host than that. By the
way, yes.
Or a half hour late. That's even worse.
Right. So we show up, and I see the face. I'm like, "Are we early?" I say, "Yeah." I'm like, oh, no, it's of course it's okay.
It's always okay,
and it was okay because the professor had made a Gantt chart for his cooking. Which did not take into account an interruption of guests showing up too early, so things were burning and everything was going wrong.
Ruined a guy's timing.
Totally. He literally had a Gantt chart with multiple timer alarms on his iPhone when to turn stuff.
This is really not good.
No, it's not.
That's not good.
No, it's not good. Now, there was an additional guest at the table, a criminal defense lawyer from somewhere in between Austin and Texas, who was their friend, and I guess
Austin and where?
And Houston.
Okay,
sorry, Austin and Houston, which is this kind of no man's land, and he defends criminals, which made the evening quite entertaining, which I will talk about a little bit later. So we're kind of having a nice time, and we're all chatting, and it was pork belly, by the way, was the rest on the menu. Pork belly, which was quite okay, and then there was the thing that got kind of burned or didn't work out right was the cauliflower. It was a full cauliflower basted in some kind of mustard-like sauce and then put in the oven. Are you familiar with this dish?
No, but I can imagine it.
Yeah. And then at a certain point, the artist says, "Well, don't we have things to talk about?" I'm like, oh.
She's a troublemaker.
She's a big troublemaker.
She's going for the glass of wine in somebody's face kind of. Let's hope that happens.
Yeah, well, it could have. But she leaves. Well, don't we have something to talk about? Let's see. Adam, what do you think about the airplane? Don't you have some conspiracies? I'm not kidding. That's almost the tone of voice. There was a lot of.
That's pretty insulting.
When
did she get so insulting?
No, she's always kind of been insulting. That's okay. That's who she is. I don't mind. Well, she's an artist. If it's not about her, which is the way most artists are, then we might as well be insulting someone else.
Okay.
I can't wait till the next dinner. Here's this. And
I was surprised. I met this woman.
Yeah.
I thought she was very pleasant.
She is pleasant. This has nothing to do with...
That's why I find it weird that she would be so overtly insulting.
The professor at one point said, I think he said something about crazy, of course there's no crazy people, present company excluded, or something, basically, calling me crazy. He literally called me crazy at the dinner.
And what basis was this?
Well, because they heard the last dinner at the Obots report, and they need to get back at me somehow. And this is
I see what
you understand.
This is just make goods.
Yes, of course. So I'm cool. I'm calm. I'm totally good with it. In fact, I love it. It's like rocket fuel.
Material.
Yes, thanks.
Cha-ching.
Right. And cha-ching, exactly. And then they start to slip up. All right, I was writing down notes during the dinner. I've never done this before.
Oh, that is so.
I literally went like, hold on.
Did you lick the tip of the pen and then start writing?
Yeah, I licked the tip all right.
Yeah. Writing here. Hold on a second. Just bring a reporter's notebook. That way it's
but let me put my
in the back of your pants.
Let me put my green visor on. Hold on a second. So there were a number of... So the plane... And I did my typical thing. I said, look, there's no evidence of this thing crashing. So as far as I'm concerned, it has not crashed. If you think that the United States Pentagon does not know exactly where this thing is, then you're foolish. Because I've seen the systems. They know exactly where this is. And these satellite images Please, how insulting is that? We can see the pimple on your nose from space. And we're being shown some debris with dimensions, and it's all this. And Google Earth is better than this. and so they're like, yeah, but what do you think? Is it going to be used as a bomb? So I quickly steered away from it, and actually I went so fast to Ukraine. And I kind of got him with that because, here it is. What? You're going to tell me Putin's not a bad guy? I said yes. Not only does he hate gays, he hates dogs, and if you've seen the Paralympics, he hates cripples. Yeah, so at this point, they're like, what? But I said, is it possible to think that maybe there's something behind all of this? Maybe we are, maybe there's, people who have done this before. I don't know, let me see. The neocons who took us into Iraq, do you think maybe? And, of course, I'm giving them the names and I'm giving them the connections. I'm saying, look, it's Victoria Noodleman, and she's married to Kagan. Roger Kagan, his brother is Fred Kagan, Project for a New American Century. And now they're kind of like sitting back a little bit and like, why
don't they listen to the show?
They don't listen to the show. They don't listen. They do not.
They listen to this part of the show, and then they.
Yeah, they listen. No, of course, they listen to me talking about them, and they tune out.
Yeah,
but
I find that peculiar.
But a couple of fun things happen because, at a certain point, I'm like, this is being run by the State Department, and this is well set up. Hillary set it all up, and she's getting ready to win. Another thing, they think I'm joking. I had to really explain to them that yes, I hope Hillary wins because she's the only one uniquely qualified to run the empire, and I explained what the empire is. I said, Kerry is he's the Yale man. He's in there and he's dumb. Oh, you can't say he's dumb. I said, yeah, he can. Look at him. Look at his big watermelon head. The guy's dumb as wood. No, that's not true because, you don't get to be chosen Secretary of State if you're dumb. I said, oh, then how come George Bush, who was president, is dumb according to you? That was a knockout punch, John.
Yeah, no, that was a left hook right into the liver shot.
Yes, illegal liver shot. And they're like, yeah, okay. No, and then we're talking about about the economy, which if you're an OBOT is great. Economy is great. I've said what?
What?
The economy's not
right.
Yeah, I said the economy's not great. There's no jobs. Nobody are you talking about. Unemployment is down. It's only about 6.5%. I said, yeah, because people are not even looking for jobs anymore. And they said, no, there's plenty of jobs in North Dakota. It's like, I'm not kidding. John,
there's
I'm not.
Plenty of jobs in North Dakota.
This is really what was said. And then I said, well, do you understand that the numbers that are reported that they're skewed and they're real? What are you, Jack Welch? I said, yeah, I'm on board with him because if you look at shadowstats.com, some conspiracy site. I said, no, they just include the U6 numbers, which you may want to have a look at. Oh, it really started to go downhill from there, and now people are starting to speak loudly to me. Very, very much like very much like Glenn Greenwald does, when you do. So I'm going to be Glenn Greenwald, and then you're going to start disagreeing with me. So you're going to start talking some sense. So here I am, and I'm talking about, for instance, about the middle class, and you can jump in on time. And the middle class is really, I want to talk to you about this. No.
The middle class is shrinking.
That's how it went. And I noticed that. I'm like, wow. So middle class, this was a very interesting topic as well. I said, we're all in the middle class. No, we're not. Yeah, you are. So the middle class is not defined by money. It's defined by either you're starving or you're pretty much a billionaire. And if you're not, you're middle class. That's what. No, you don't understand middle class. I said, well, if you ask the Secretary of the Treasury in America, or they'll tell you that the middle class is not defined by income. It's defined by a number of factors, and the whole reason for that is everyone wants to be in it, and of course the government wants you in it because that's where the taxes are. No. We're not. They would not accept middle class. No, we're upper.
That's beneath them.
Yes. I said, and I think one said, yeah, well, we have a Porsche. I said, yeah, it's a Boxster. Believe me, you're middle class. This is unless you got a 911, you're not even close.
Even then. Unless you have a Ferrari.
Well, even then, John. Come on. Even then. So this leads into education.
Oh, I got one. If you have a Bugatti Veyron.
And it's paid off. It's not on a lease.
You can't lease them. You have to give $1.2 million cash.
And you're not living in it. If you're not sleeping in it.
Living in it. There's no place to lay down in that thing.
All right.
Okay. There's a car there.
So this leads to education. And, of course, well, the problem with this country is education is atrocious. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Well, I said, I don't think it's very good what's happening with this centrally managed education. Oh, it's the states, and Texas writes all the textbooks. I'm like, all right, stop. Hold on a second. Slow down, mister. I'm moving to California. I said, do you know what Common Core is? No, I heard of it, but I don't know what it is. Okay, well, essentially the whole idea is that the companies the technology companies have finagled this STEM thing to create workers for their companies, and the answer I get back is, well, that's exactly what we need. We need more workers in technology and knowledge economy. This is a good thing. I said, really? You just want to create robots? Well, yeah, we need more. The answer was yes, essentially. Yes, we need this. We need more knowledge workers to be in the knowledge business because that's our future. I said, no, our future is the trillions of cubic zirconias of oil and gas in Utah. Our future is the gas we're going to be exporting all over the world. That's our future. We need workers in that. And
meanwhile, by the way, the callback you missed.
No, wait, I didn't miss anything because I said, you're an artist. Why can't we have art and musicians? So the best programmers I've ever hired.
That's actually better callback than what I had in mind.
Well, I said the best programmers I've ever hired were bassists. Bass players make great programmers. It's you can't always. It's like writing. No, it's math. Said no, programming, code, writing apps is not just math. It is art. You can write code 100,000 different ways, just like a book. No. At the end of the day, it's ones and zeros. Oh, no. I said that's not true. Well, the apps I use are. I said no. It's interface design. This is real art, but the underlying code, that is art. You can write a program with 10,000 lines or 5,000 lines. It can do the same thing. It's just how good of a writer you are. It's not just math. Could not get this in, John. Impossible. We need STEM. All right, we're gonna have we might as well just go back to command line because that's the only interface we're gonna have that works. What was your callback on them?
That's funny. My callback was you said we need more of these. You said, well, you were just advocating everyone going to North Dakota. That's the oil business.
Yeah, no, I mean, I stayed away from that because
that's just too argumentative. But I think your point about the art is really interesting for the simple reason that you have an artist there and kind of an artsy, artsy fartsy group.
Well, who, by the way, is a leadress in the quantified self movement. So she's kind of a reverse artist where all art is data. And if I had to, and now we have this ongoing bet, which I already won last year. He said, Apple will have an iWatch by Christmas. And of course I said, no, they won't. And it wasn't. And now it's like, it's going to happen. iWatch is coming by Christmas. I said, no, it's not going to happen.
You mean they lost this bet already?
Yep, no, she doubled down. Double or nothing. I said, it's not going to happen. Apple will not do an iWatch. No matter, yes, everybody wants to track themselves. Data is the future of life. Ray Kurzweil is my hero. And and I'm all into. I like it's interesting, sure, it's certain things, but no, I do not think that we need to be. It's a very sad state of affairs when all we want is to train robots to create robot apps that tell us when to go to sleep. That's the future I see. That's the future I see with my friends. Yeah. So then
I find it. Yeah, it's interesting. I think these dinners are very worthwhile. I'm glad you talk about them.
Incredibly well, and what I found surprising after the last report is that it was actually a moment where, okay, are you enjoying your meal? Because now we're going to give Adam all our crazy. Okay, bring it on. That's fine. But they're also mad. They're mad because they don't listen to this show. Is why they're mad, because they're so misunderstanding of what's really going on. By the way, they don't watch television. They don't read. They listen to NPR. I think that would be the extent of it.
Yeah, that would put you into one track.
And then, and this was great. And the professor goes, no. So we're back on education, and his wife says, "Well, we suck. Singapore, China, they're so much better at math. We're 50 on the list." I'm like, well, that's the OECD numbers, and if you really look at the numbers, you'll see I'm not talking OECD numbers. I said, well, yeah, that's the headline you're parroting, because this is what I do for a living. It's the OECD test, and number 50. I said, yeah, but the percentage is so minute. It looks like we're number 50, but it's really only a percentage point or so under China. And then I Google around and I find a report written by, I'll put it in the show notes for today, written by two professors from Stanford, the very school the professor is going to, refuting this bullcrap OECD study that says America's dumb and we suck at math. And I say, oh, I hear there's some smart people at this school. Maybe you should read this report. It's like, oh, well, I didn't realize that. That this had been. I haven't read the report recently. Okay. Well, then don't raise your voice at me, please. And then of course,
I admire you for actually going through this process, because I don't. Put up with this.
I'm still young. I'm still young, but also,
and I won't have these dinners. I actually have dinners with guys that have to calm down. They're completely off the deep end the other way.
the other way. Yeah. No, I that's called
calm down. It's not that bad.
Yeah, we have nights here in Austin too. we have that here. But it's really good, because what always happens, and the next day I'll get an email. Hey, I looked into that, and you were kind of right about that, and so it's always the screaming in my face, and then later, and notice not everybody's copied on the email. But it's okay.
Of course.
It's all right. It's all right.
This is the truth. They came up with the term that group of people, denialist.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And it's really kind of one of these things. Whatever you call that thesis, that whatever you call somebody, you are.
Yes. Yeah.
But brought it up in the show.
Wat je zegt ben jezelf met je kop door de helft.
And so the denialist moniker, which came from an Obot type thinker, is pretty much describes these people. It's very interesting. I find it fascinating, but it's also kind of saddening.
See, it's saddening. What's saddening to me is that when the professor and Marianne leave for California, we'll have one probably once, 1 year, and then maybe they'll come back to Austin for a visit. We'll have another one, and I'll lose program.
The continuity is gone.
Well, for the show, it's horrible, obviously, but for them, I think I improved their lives. And they're my friends. I like them, So I think
I think you're taking too. I don't think you can. You either have the breakthrough and you change.
No, that's never going to happen.
It's always what's it called when you go back downhill? It's called
failure.
Well, besides the failure, you become you go on the wagon. You don't drink anymore, and then you
fall off the wagon.
Not backsliding.
You fall off the wagon.
Well, damn it. There's a great word for this. Anyway, it's like recidivism. You go back to your old ways if you don't have the influence. This is actually discussed in some detail by Jacques Ellul in a book I recommend to everybody. If you want to read a great book, besides the fact that everything Ellul wrote is pretty decent, Ellul. And the book is called Propaganda. and it discusses the mechanism of propaganda and how it works. And it really only works, in other words, when you get a whole set of a structure of the way to think. It has to be in a closed society. You can't be, see other things. When you start seeing other ways of thinking, then your propaganda loses its effect. And what you're doing is you're the other way of thinking for the moment. But once they go back into the closed system, which is California and Stanford, their area, they're doomed.
Yeah.
They're right back to the old knee-jerk whatever.
Right. Well, that's sad because, he's part of the education system and he's going to be teaching people. And although he's
a great teacher.
I really like the professor because when you hit him with something that just, that is logic, that he can't turn left or right, he will say, okay. You can't say Kerry can't be appointed Secretary of State if he's dumb and at the same time say George Bush was dumb. You just can't do that. So that's
you're like Kirk with the computer.
I'm
tricking him.
The holodeck just disappeared all of a sudden. So then it was kind of interesting to find out that both the professor and his college buddy, who was Bill, the criminal defense lawyer, they'd both gone to Baylor, which is Waco, Texas.
Right.
And they were both grousing about, too bad we went to Baylor. I said, what's wrong with Baylor? Well, Southern Baptist. Crazy religious school. And then I said, this is why you are the way you are. This is why you turn your science into religion. This is how you were taught. I didn't like that. That didn't go over well. And that conversation stopped pretty quickly. However, very interesting. Bill had listened to the show. He came prepared.
Bill is the lawyer?
Yeah, he's and I said, Bill, tell me about, I defend sex offenders. I said, oh, you mean people who peed on the street? He said, yep, that would be one. Or the Romeo and Juliet, where the older guy, younger girl, statutory rape type stuff. And I said, well, people may not say this to you often, but I think you're doing a great service. This is very, very, someone has to do this. So I got in his good graces early.
Good move. And
he said, wow, I heard you guys talking about the privatized prisons, the Correction Corporation of America. He says, I read their annual report. He says, it's really hilarious to see how good business is and how, we need to keep running people through the prison system. And he turned me on to, that mic of yours.
Sorry, I'm going to have to oil it.
Don't you have WD-40 or something in the house?
Well, I got some 3-in-1 that might work.
And he turned me on to something that maybe we've talked about it. But he says, you think private prisons are bad? He says, private probation services. This is the bonanza.
Ooh.
Yeah. And,
no, we have not talked about that.
Right. So private, let me see, I have the name of one of the companies. And he deals with this all the time. They're all over the country now. So they go to the court and they say, look, court, you fine this person, $1,000 for driving with a suspended license. We will take over this case for you as a private probation company. It'll cost the court nothing. We will collect the money. And the way they do it is so here's an example. In addition to the fine that the court puts in, so let's say, someone has to pay $1,000 and they can pay it off over the course of a year. They'll also pay $40 a month for the probation fee, which is on top of your fine. And of course, a setup fee of $35 or whatever. And if you don't pay on time, then they tell the judge, and then you get a warrant for your arrest, and then they throw you in jail. Because it's debtor's prison.
What a great business.
It's fantastic. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. They have a
these douchebags that do this stuff. They've taken over this privatization of the government services. In San Francisco, it's not the San Francisco city anymore that collects the fees for the parking tickets. It's a private company.
Yeah.
Parking Company of America or some bullcrap.
So even at that, if you don't pay your tickets and then you go to court, So you have your, and of course you get fines on top of fines. So it could be thousands of dollars just going in, and then you're guilty, and then the judge says, okay, you're getting probation, and your probation is for a year. In that year, you have to pay off every single month. In addition to that, you're going to pay the probation company. It's kind of like the driving classes. Only if you miss a payment, they arrest you, and they throw you into jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand how this has gotten this far. The parking ticket thing, which is a low-level annoyance compared to that, you can't fight a parking ticket anymore.
No.
Because the court's got nothing to do with it. You go in there, I have an issue here. So, well, so what? Just talk to the bureaucrats about it. We can't do anything for you. What do the judges do now? What do they spend their time on? What does the justice system do with its money?
Yeah, I don't know.
And like you said, they aren't even hiring these guys. They're just putting the money in their pocket. This is terrible.
Yeah.
All right, we'll look at
so
this.
So they have they've got associations, they've got all kinds of stuff. They've got all kinds of amazing, and most of this is moving violations. So if you don't pay a traffic ticket and you don't go to court, then you in a lot of states automatically your license is suspended. So then if you get caught, you're driving without a license. That's now you're really screwed. Anyway, so he does a lot of that too. He says it's just insane. And he was telling me that no, I do not want to take the bar. I do not want to become a lawyer. I'm like, okay. And then things really started to go downhill from there. And somehow HPV came up, or I didn't even get into this one, where one of the ladies at the table said, "Well, I was at my doctor, and I don't have to do Pap smears, I don't have to do mammograms. I've read all the research, and we know what this is about. We talked about this just the other day."
Yeah, we had one of our producers wrote us about it.
Yeah, and what is the reason for this?
So the Obamacare doesn't have to pick up the bill.
Right, exactly. Kill people. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not even going to get into this. I'm not going to say anything.
No, that would have been an ugly, muddy pit.
But then she said, and by the way, HPV, that's just slut cancer. Who
said this?
One of the bot women. And that's when I went, okay, we're going to go home now. I didn't say it like, to make it so obvious, but Mickey and I looked at each other like, holy crap. Did you just say slut cancer?
And these are liberals?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a mixed bag out there. It's
weird. It is. Anyway, that would be my report.
It's another installment of Dinner with the Obots.
May 2nd, we should have our final Obot dinner.
All right, we'll look forward to that. It's a month away. That'll be right, by the way, during one of the episodes.
Of course.
Because May Day is the day for the 6-week cycle to hit again, so it'll be within a week of that.
And I received an email about that. Let me see. In fact, I want to read it verbatim. Hey, Adam, it's your Christian friend who's writing the crazy conspiracy Illuminati book. That's always an opener for you. Hope all is well with you. I was listening to this past Thursday's show. You guys said something that perked my ear. John said, the next 6-week cycle lands on May 1st, May Day. May 1st is the highest holy day to the Illuminati. You can Google that if you like, see for yourself. I don't know if the two dates converging means anything, or if anything special will happen, but I think it was interesting. Thought you might as well. God bless, Brad. So that we could have a really super duper event where the FBI and the Illuminati collude.
Yes, it could be.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stump you with that. Anyway, I do want to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
Yeah, and in the morning to you, Adam Curry. And also, I want to say in the morning to all the ships at sea and all the boots on the ground and the feet in the air who listen to this show, and also the dames and knights out there.
Indeed, and to our artists, who you can see all of the submissions at noagendaartgenerator.com. Thank you very much, Thorin, for episode Art 4601. And in the morning, everybody there in the chat room, noagendachat.net, noagendastream.com for the live shows. And it's always nice to have people feeding back to us in real time. And the way this program works, obviously we're not paid for by political parties like all the news networks. That big bonanza is coming very soon. We don't take political. In fact, we have no advertising, no native advertising, no sneaky advertising, no advertising whatsoever, because the only way we can stay on the air and do this type of analysis is if it is brought to you by the listeners who we call producers, and we have some execs and associate execs for today's show.
Indeed, we do. Let's start with a couple of them, starting with Jonathan Dennison, who sent in a note, and he sent in he's an Instanite, $1,000 is in Pierce, Idaho.
Bam. And
let's see what I get. Which is note here. There's one of them.
Now, was this a check or did he send in was it a PayPal?
It went through PayPal. He writes in, "Hey guys, I've been listening for a few years now. The guilt of freeloading has finally become too great. I appreciate all the work you guys put into dispelling the lies of the mass media disinformation monster. Keep up the great work. A while ago, my buddy Christopher Ricketson called me out as a douchebag.
No.
Please give me a de-douching so I can feel clean as well as guilt-free. I would also like to give Christopher Ricketson some karma because he is constantly out there promoting the formula."
All right.
You've been de-douched. You've got karma.
Next on the list is Alexander Farrington. From Southern California, 63333.
Nice.
And he also says he wants a podcasting license. That was it was kind of on the check. He also wrote in saying this opening line may be serious if the hashtags are pushing John's email to spam. He put a donation note hashtag. Adam, please tell John I'm making a dent in my boner status.
Hey, John. Hey, John.
Sorry. Yeah?
He's making a dent in his boner status.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay.
And sending in my food budget for the foreseeable future. The good news is I can eat mac and cheese on the cheap. LGY.
I'm sorry. The chat room is saying, "No agenda, brought to you by Carbonite. Use the code SLUTCANCER."
Thanks for the outstanding work. The analysis, the entertainment, the analysitainment.
Analitainment?
Analitainment, that would be it.
All right.
We do analitainment.
You could read that in multiple ways, but yeah, analitainment.
Yeah, you could.
Yep.
Shout out to Chad. It's always good to hear a fellow EMS brother that's hitting him in the mouth, and a round of karma to all.
Right on.
But respectively, you, John and Adam, Crackpot and Buzzpill.
It's Crackpot and Buzzpill. Tasty.
Buzzpill. Loose Nut and some other name I'll make up for no apparent reason. The check's in the mail. Here's the confirmation page. Hopefully you can credit me on show 600, but apparently not. 602.
I can go back and put it on 600.
You could.
Yeah.
We're doing that for somebody coming up. Okay, he needs some karma for us. Did you give karma to
yeah, I gave
Dennison?
Yeah, no, he got de-douching and karma. Yeah. Here's karma for Alexander.
You've got karma.
You wanted LGY in there too, but...
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I was not paying attention. Here we go. Yay! All right.
And now we have another $600 donor, Dean Rasmussen in the Pacific Northwest. I have a note. He sent it in by mail.
He must be more than just Dean. He's got to be Sir by now. Well into Sirdom.
He does. He says he's working on it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I could be wrong. I recognize the name, just maybe.
I've been listening to your podcast for a little over a year. I've been considered staying anonymous, so you probably haven't heard his name much.
No.
Because of my career. He never says what that is, but we can guess. He lives in Everett, Washington. However, freedom of speech means nothing if you're afraid to use it. And by the way, can I just stop the show for a second and mention something?
Yeah.
People who are fearful that we don't have anybody, we don't have there's the secret, the Stasi's not listening for your name so they can come over and shoot you. The guy who's got the good excuses, the guy says, I'm giving you this money, but my wife, she'll kill me if she finds out I gave you.
That's for real.
That's a
real threat.
Fear.
Yeah, that's fear.
I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
As an old saying amongst the No Agenda listeners goes, it's time for me to stop being a boner and become a donor. The special producer credit for show 600 seemed like you must have put him on there too, by the way, on the old show. Seemed like a good time as any. Hopefully, it took forever for this check to come in. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, there'll be a knighthood by the end of the year. Only No Agenda covers the news in a way relevant to anyone who thinks at higher than fourth grade level. Mm-hmm. Your deconstruction analysis 2 times a week is what I look forward to more than just about anything else. Your hard work is greatly appreciated and admired. More important, you two gentlemen remain a fine bastion of news and information that I use to help to educate my 2 boys at the trench warfare that is Common Core.
Yeah. Did you notice that someone tweeted that that PhD letter about Common Core, and they put our names on it? And it's like every day I get 1,000 tweets of people just like all kinds of weirdos showing up now on my tweet Twitter feed
that we didn't do.
Well, we did nothing, but because this was tweeted with our tweeter names on it.
Oh, because we have our ads in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
And there's all kinds of stuff like, well, you guys should shut up. Yeah, you did it.
Block them.
No,
No. That's what Twitter's for.
Oh, right.
I block people at the drop of a hat on Twitter.
Yeah, but I
You stink. Blocked. I don't have to listen to this guy. Why do I want to be hassled on Twitter? It's a time consumer as it is.
I like to have my ear to the feeling of the people on the street, John.
That is not the people on the street. Let me finish this note. As for any Christian listeners who don't donate because Adam does have Tourette's and does on occasion swear or use the Lord's name in vain, I want to call them out as douchebags.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Douchebag. They need to donate and stop being hypocritical. There's nothing more hypocritical than a Christian who falsely uses some lame excuse as swearing to not donate.
Yes, thank you.
It's never stopped any Christian I know from going to a movie at the theater or watching a TV show just because they use the Lord's name in vain once in a while. The real reason they won't donate is because they're cheap.
Yes. They probably take money out of the little sock with the stick that comes by in church.
I would like a douchebag call out for my friend Tim, who has not donated.
There you go.
I would also like some farming karma, 2 to the head, don't eat me, Hillary, George Clooney as a spy, and a Putin.
Hold on a second. Don't eat me, Hillary.
2 to the head.
2 to the head. Clooney is a spy. Yeah.
And karma.
Putin. And then karma. All right, let's see if we can do this. And I don't do this for everybody, this kind of stuff, you know.
Eat me, Hillary Clinton.
George Clooney is a spy.
You've got karma.
That was a 10.
Nailed it.
You nailed it. Good work.
You know what? I'm surprised, though. No one put in 4710 for a ringtone today.
No, I know. We have to put it in the newsletter to remind him.
Oh.
AGW Enterprises, $333.33, an executive producer from Newton, Massachusetts.
Is that like a global warming company, AGW?
I don't know.
Anthropogenic Global Warming Enterprises.
Oh, okay. Love both of you. I'd like to offer a 15% discount on all NAS listeners at my site, combatstocks.com. Just send an email to me or us after you place your order and mention No Agenda. We will supply the discount. Perfect for any upcoming shooting wars. This is a gun shop.
Let me take a look. Combat. Ooh! Oh, my goodness. Oh, they got some cool stuff. Dude. I know. Dude. I'm going to order from these guys. They got stocks.
Stocks?
Yeah, they're selling stocks.
Stocks.
Like, I thought stocks and bonds.
I get it.
But
stocks is not a stock market stock. It's a stock.
Varmint stocks.
Sir
Shotgun
Random Hillbilly,
stocks.
Tim Wachinski.
Hey, Random Hillbilly.
In Elkins, West Virginia, your old stomping grounds, 33333. Sir Random Hillbilly, John and Adam, thank you for your courage and accept this donation. I would have come up earlier, but I was busy at IETF juggling multiple discussions on supporting DNS privacy. There's serious strong work being done in this area, and I would happily explain the details to Adam. Thanks for the confidence. But I don't want him to think I want to be his friend.
Besides, the Adderall and weed trains are back and running on time. All right. West Virginia is a good place for this.
I would think so. Robin Yeah, it's a state I've only been to once. I should go visit it.
It's a beautiful state. It really is beautiful.
Robin Clements in Utrecht. 33312 in Holland. After the aftermath of a successful 600 show, please accept this donation. Packing my bags for a trip to a hopefully sunny San Francisco this Sunday. I feel like a perfect time for value for value. I will be visiting the Google headquarters on an executive summit with 30 other douchebags.
It doesn't say that.
Dutch Google clients. What am I thinking? So that would be a fine moment for the first-hand skepticism.
Hey, here's an idea. When you're so this is an executive summit with 30 other clients. You stand up and you say, "Spook!" Try that.
No, say in the morning to all these. There's got to be a couple more in there.
Oh, yeah.
The trip also encompasses a dinner at the Dutch consulate and a meeting with a future colleague of Adams, the Consulate General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands for the 13 westernmost states, who, by the way, previously was a special envoy for climate change.
That makes sense.
I'm already looking forward to seeing the stunned faces at the dinner table when I treat them to some genuine no-agenda deconstruction.
I'll do the face. Huh? If Peter Lanen is in that, just tell him Mickey and Adam said hi, and you're good to go. He will protect you. If he's not there, tread lightly.
Please give me a nap for humanity, squirrel, and some general karma for all the dames and knights out there.
All right.
Nap for humanity.
Squirrel!
You've got karma.
Dropping down to associate executive producer Owen in London, $250. Please, can I have some job karma from the best podcast in the universe? Thanks for 601. Awesome show.
Wow, that's so kind, of course.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Then we have from Chandler, Arizona, $200 for Michael Deacock, which is ominous sounding. Thank you for your courage. Congratulations on 600 shows. Looking forward to 600 more. I'd like to make a shout out to musicgourmets.com, a little forum where all the No Agenda show listeners are welcome to join the banter. We even provide a tinfoil hat if you forget to bring one. I also like to ask for some job karma for Nicky Boy, one of the longtime members at Music Gourmets. He's a great guy and can really use some good luck in his job hunt. Thanks for all you do and keep up the great work.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
That wraps it up, right?
Yeah, that covers it for show 602. And I remind people we do have a show 603 coming up, and we need continued support. Go to Dvorak.org/NA and help us out. And also channel.Dvorak.com/NA. You can find a backup site there, and No Agenda Nation and NoAgendaShow.com both have buttons.
And on the PR front, we promoted this a new app, the NoAgendroid app, at noagendroid.com, but whoever runs that, of course, I don't know anymore. Your bandwidth limit has exceeded. So could you please fix that, or I'm going to have to take you off the credits because, that's no fun.
How does that even happen in this day and age?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. It may even be a great question.
Just go to WordPress.com and get it, a free account there. I don't know if you can even exceed the bandwidth.
All right, as John just said,
Dvorak.org/NA.
And of course, we need you to continuously be out there all the time propagating our formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
By Ayn Rand.
Shut up, slave.
And we went to that was kind of fun last night. People are asking, did you see our pictures with Miss Mickey and I on a big longhorn with our cowboy hats?
No.
Yeah, there was we've been asked to attend the bandana ball.
Like you were sitting on the back of a steer?
A longhorn, yeah. Mickey was. I was in front holding on to the horn, not sitting on it. And we were really excited. This is a bandana ball, so it's kind of like a charity thing going on here in Austin. And we've been invited to go. And it was really quite nice, and it was very well done out on the Wild Onion Ranch. But we had the hats, we had the boots, we had practiced our two-step and our Texas waltz, and we're completely into it. This is all great. And then they had the Spasmatics playing, which is an 80s cover band. Where do I get the two-step? It was very disappointing. It was a real, and we both were severely disappointed because we've been waiting to come out, as it were, with our dancing.
Yeah, and do a two-step.
Yeah. Well, this was not the moment.
Texas two-step.
Texas two-step. So the president had another secret meeting in the Oval Office.
That was it? That was the end of the story?
Just because people are asking about the pictures. You didn't go
I didn't see the picture. That's so I didn't. I would have probably asked. Okay, go on.
Yeah, you'll see it after the show. Yeah, so the president had a secret meeting with Zuckerberg, Schmidt, and for some reason, Reed of Netflix. Yeah, I'm really worried. Reed of Netflix.
Reed Hastings?
Yeah. What is he doing there? What does he have to do? Is he a member of the Prism gang now, too? This is a little...
I mean, they probably are. Probably when you rent a movie from...
Yeah,
I have to say now.
Yeah, good point.
He was there.
Yeah, good point.
You rent movies from Netflix. They are tracking what you're looking at, what you're watching, when you're watching it.
When you pause it.
And analyzing it.
Yeah. Of course, this is a secret meeting, so no details released as to exactly who was there or what it was about, other than the big data project of the government, everybody. I don't know if you received the email from the White House, John. Did you not get an email from...
I don't think so. I only get stuff from Hillary now.
Oh, no, John Podesta, who, as you know, he's the what is the democracy outfit? What is the... come on, what's that huge political action committee that everyone's always talking at? The
Koch brothers.
No, not the Koch brothers. No, the Democratic thing.
I'm going to look it up.
The Democrat future thing. Come on. God, I can't believe you don't, off the top of your head. Okay, now I'm pissed off.
You should be. I don't see any. I can't
Podesta.
find it.
Dude, come on.
Dude? You said dude twice today.
Yeah, well, because you're duding. You're making me dude you. Here, Podesta. Here we go.
Center for American Progress.
Thank you. CAF. I knew it was something like Center for American.
Yeah,
CAP.
It's the big one. It's the big whopper. Everybody knows
it's the big whopper. So he is now a advisor to the president, and as a part of this, the president had this meeting because, of course, we're in collusion with the tech companies, and I'll just do a quick reminder. The tech companies cannot secure your information and encrypt it and only hand you the keys because that breaks their business model of reading your shit and looking at your shit to throw ads in your face.
So Podesta was at the meeting?
Of course he was at the meeting. And then I'm just
trying to I want to get a mental image. We have these guys all in this meeting talking to each other, and I'm assuming what they're doing is trying to cover their ass. And they're looking for the best way to do it that is high end.
Yes.
Not, Zuckerberg's just dreaming something up.
Right. Well, yeah. So what they're looking for is a way to snooker the public, not just the American public, the public at large, into thinking that somehow
all is good.
Well, not just all is good, but the tech companies, that they're protecting your freedoms.
Right.
And they're protecting your privacy, which they're not. Because it's their business model to not protect it.
And Zuckerberg never liked the idea, by the way, of protecting privacy. He thought Facebook should be wide open so you could get dates.
Yeah.
You don't want to keep any secrets.
The whole idea was to know the most about the babe you wanted to score with. That's how the thing was set up.
Yeah, and that's what he thinks is best.
So I'll read from a news article here. And this is important for the timing. A week before a self-imposed deadline for a review of National Security Agency programs, President Barack Obama sought Friday to assure leading internet and tech executives that his administration is committed to protecting people's privacy. You see, this is how it's done. It's like, we're poor tech companies and you government breaking into our stuff. No, they're not. You're giving it to them. CEOs from Facebook, Google, Netflix, and others spent more than 2 hours with Obama in the Oval Office. discussing their concerns about NSA spying programs, which have drawn outrage from tech companies whose data have been scooped up by the government. This is from Fox, by the way. Shame on you, Fox.
Yeah, we know this not to be true.
Yeah. Joining Obama and the CEOs were Obama's Commerce Secretary, Homeland Security Advisor, and Counselor John Podesta, whom Obama has tasked with leading a review of privacy and big data. And here's the video.
Hi, I'm John Podesta, Counselor to President Obama and Chair of the Big Data and Privacy.
Consort?
No.
Is he a hooker?
I think did he say consort?
Did he?
Let me say.
Hi, I'm John Podesta, Counselor to President.
Counselor, not hooker.
Counselor. So I said consort.
Hooker. I'm John Podesta, hooker. He should give all his credits. I am John Podesta. I set up the Center for American Progress, a liberal think tank in Washington. I'm here in the White House. I'm also a professor of law at the Georgetown University Law University Center. I was co-chairman of the Obama Transition Project. I'm from Chicago, Northwest Side. I'm Greek American.
Hi, I'm John Podesta, Counselor to President Obama and Chair of the Big Data and Privacy Working Group.
Chair of the Big Data and Privacy Working Group, John. Big data. Big data is apparently a real thing now because the White House is all in on big data. First it was cloud, now it's big data. Let's listen in.
Here at the White House.
At the White House. Do you hear how he's talking all kind of secretive? I'm here at the White House. I snuck in, bitches.
Hi, I'm John
So I
Podesta,
can hear that again.
Counselor to President Obama and Chair of the Big Data and Privacy Working Group here at the White House.
At the White House. I'm here at the White. Look at my office. It's in the White House. I'm in the West Wing.
On January 7th.
Golf in the next room.
What's that?
Somebody's putting on 18. They're putting, and it's a strong putt, and there it goes. He missed the hole. Oh, the crowd gasped.
I got to talk a little quietly here because the president's practicing his putt next door. Got to be quiet.
Hi, I'm John Podesta.
Now, let's go.
Counselor to President Obama and Chair of the Big Data and Privacy Working Group here at the White House. On January 17th, President Obama spoke about the changes in technology that we use for national security and what it means to our privacy. As part of that speech, the President recognized that technology is changing the relationship between citizens and privacy more generally than just in that national security context. And so...
What? He said, now that was, he realized, I think, that what he just said was total bullcrap. The relationship between citizens and privacy. I don't have a relationship with privacy. I have privacy. This is a little.
There's something that this is interesting that he would put it like that.
Let's listen to that.
This is no privacy as an entity.
Yeah, like my relationship.
It's not a state. It's an entity.
Or a right. How about a right?
President Obama spoke about the changes in technology that we use for national security and what it means to our privacy. As part of that speech, the President recognized that technology is changing the relationship between citizens and privacy more generally than just in that national security context. And so he...
More generally than just in the national security context. Hey, way to communicate with the citizenry, Podesta.
He asked that we conduct a 90-day review here at the White House of big data and privacy, how it affects the way we live, how we work, and the way that big data is being used by universities, by the private sector, as well as by government. We know this is a complicated issue. Technology is changing rapidly, from sensors all around us to the ability...
Sensors all around us? Does he know something I don't know? Sensors all around us.
Technology is changing rapidly, from sensors all around us to the ability of companies and government to analyze and look at vast volumes of data. If you're watching this video, I know that you're interacting with technology.
Hey, John. He knows we're interacting with technology because we're watching this video.
All the time. Shopping online, carrying a cell phone. You visited your...
No, I'm sorry. I no longer carry a cell phone for exactly the reason of douchebags like you.
I know that you're interacting with technology all the time, shopping online, carrying a cell phone. You visited your doctor who's using electronic records. So we'd like to hear from you on the question of what are the technologies or uses of big data that you think are going to be the most transformative to the way you live and work. Is there one technology in particular that gives you pause? I know this is a big topic, but we really would like to hear from you. So go to whitehouse.gov/big data and let us know what you think. We'll be gathering a lot of different comments, and you can expect to hear back from us as this process proceeds. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this, and I hope you'll go to the website.
Douchebag. Now,
wow.
So what this means to me, if you go to whitehouse.gov/big data, which, by the way, no one can really explain what big data is other than a big collection of data. What essentially is going to happen here is, we asked everybody.
Oh yeah, that's the great bit. We asked them. Nobody had any complaints about all this privacy stuff.
Let's see, whitehouse.gov/big data. Okay, let's see. There's a survey apparently, John. We like taking these surveys from time to time. Oh, have you seen this? Oh my goodness.
Going there now.
The president looking all pensive. The president is thinking about.
God.
He's thinking about your privacy.
But that's Obama too.
He is clearly thinking about my privacy right there. Looking off into the sunset.
We want to hear your opinion. Okay.
How much do you trust these institutions with your data? Commercial business. None, not at all, only a little, somewhat, very much. Not at all. Academic or research institutions.
Not at all.
Not at all. Professional practices, legal or medical services.
I would say only a little.
Only a little. Intelligence agencies. Now, there's no selection for that. Not at all? Is that what you're choosing?
Yeah, not at all.
Law enforcement agencies.
Not at all.
No. Government agencies like the Census Bureau or the Postal Service.
I actually trust them a little bit.
I'll give them a little, yeah.
I'm going to give them somewhat.
Somewhat or only a little? Oh, somewhat. Wow. Oh, you're going up. State and local agencies?
This depends on what agency we're talking about. I'm going to just say
only a
not
little.
At all.
Not at all? Okay, not at all. How much
do these types of data collection concern you? Video or audio? What do I think? Audio data. Not at all concerned. Only a little concerned. Somewhat concerned. Very concerned.
Yeah, me too. Location data. Very concerned. Telecommunications data. Very concerned. Online data. Profile, browsing history, content. Very concerned. How much do the following data practices concern you? Collection of data. Very concerned.
Yes.
Correlation and or sharing of data. Very concerned. Yep. Storage and or security of data. Very concerned. Transparency about the collection of data. Oh, not concerned at all.
Very concerned.
Legal standards and or oversight of the collection of data.
Wait a minute. This one's a trick question.
Yeah, be careful. Oops. Legal standards
and
I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I am too.
Which technologies or uses of data are most transforming your day-to-day life?
Now, this is a fill-it-in question. Yeah. What are you going to put?
Best podcast in the universe.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, noagendashow.com.
No Agenda Show.
That concerns me the most. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your thoughts on the issue? Yes. Fuck off and die. And read our privacy policy. Should we read that real quick? Let's see what happens. Note, we're updating the White House privacy policy. Oh, my goodness. Can you believe this? They're so concerned about privacy, but right on their privacy policy, they say, we're updating the White House privacy policy. The new policy will go into effect April 18th and can be seen here. So what do? Do I agree with this one or with the new one?
I don't know. You don't agree with any of them, it seems.
What's the
Once you're on the website, you've agreed.
Let's look at the new one.
We're updating the policy. Here it is. See the existing policy here. You can go back.
No, we don't want to go back.
Information we receive when you provide it. White House Gov. How is this information used? Sharing of this information. Data retention. Security. I'm going to look at that. We take reasonable precautions, whatever that means.
So they collect information about your computer or mobile setup, type of web browser, operating system, screen resolution, connection speed, the pages you visit, the internet or URL that you connected to from our site, the amount of data transmitted. Ooh, I don't want to overuse my allotment.
All right, well, we filled out the survey.
Yeah, this seems a pretty standard. I don't see anything crazy here. On Twitter, the White House automatically archives tweets from official White House accounts.
The library, why? This is redundant.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
The Library of Congress is archiving all the tweets.
Yeah.
Why are they wasting our money?
I don't know. But let's see if they share. Will they share any of our information? Screw it. Okay. I'll take out the fuck off and die. Maybe that's not a good thing to put in there.
No, don't put
anything else you'd like to tell us
on the door
about your thoughts on the issue? Yes.
I put not really.
I put Putin. Submit.
You could also put legalize marijuana, which I think most people will do.
Too late. I already submitted.
Oh,
all right, okay. Let's see what I get back.
You get nothing back.
Oh, that's lame.
You don't even...
they send me right back to the survey.
Yeah, you can do it again.
Wow. That's, hello, Web 101.
Yeah, and you know what
hello,
the thing
1993 calling, we want our
and you know where all
back.
Your answers went, right?
Yeah, into the bit bucket. No one gives a crap about my answers.
They're not going to be tallied or anything.
Obviously.
You can take a look with the Google. You can look at the, or the Firefox, you can look at the code to see if they actually save any of this stuff. I think it's just to assuage the dummies.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got an Ask Adam today.
Well, I was going to continue on the Snowden thing, but if you want to interrupt.
Oh, no. We're going to go back to Snowden?
Well, there's more on this particular topic.
Yeah, this Ask Adam has something to do with this.
Oh, okay. Do I just play this now, or what do I do?
No. There's setups needed left and right. Because you don't even know what I'm asking you. I have to ask you first.
Well, no, I don't. But I have three clips
Ask Adam is called Who Do You Think This Is? I want you to identify or try to guess who this person is.
Well, should I first? If you're going to do this,
no. This is going to be good.
I need a jingle. I need to do my jingle.
Oh yeah,
I can't do my jingle.
Yeah, play the jingle, whichever one you want to play.
But I don't know. I can't even. It's not even switching. It's like I don't even have a jingle anymore.
What happened to your jingle?
Here's a jingle.
Ask Adam, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, that's short and sweet. I like it.
All right.
Because you're going to have to tell me if this guy, who do you think this guy is? You think he's a government guy? You think he's a private sector guy, NGO, whatever? Is he educated?
Is this multiple? Is this multiple choice? Do I have?
Yeah, you can just
open-ended?
ramble after you hear but I want you to hear the guy. He's an apologist.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you where he spoke after you hear it.
I should say, amount of time and effort in order to ensure that we protect that privacy, and beyond that, the privacy of citizens around the world. It's not just Americans. Several things come into play here. First, we're all on the same network. My communications. I'm a user of a particular internet email service that is the number one email service of choice by terrorists around the world. Number one, and so I'm there right beside them in email space in the internet, and so we need to be able to pick that apart and find the information that's relevant.
By the way, stop. I just want to point out that this is the connection he had to this conference that he.
This highly compressed crap.
It's just I don't know what it's a crappy connection, but here he is and he continues.
And so he's phoning it in.
Well, he's got his image. He's got a picture. It's like like Skype with a photo. Skype with a video.
It's a hangout.
Could be a hangout.
In doing so, we're going to necessarily encounter Americans and innocent foreign citizens who are just going about their business. And so we have procedures in place that shreds that out, that says, okay, when you find that, not if you find it, when you find it, because you're certain to find it, here's how you protect that. These are called minimization procedures. They're approved by the Attorney General and constitutionally based. And so we protect those. And then for people, citizens of the world who are going about their lawful business on a day-to-day basis, the president on his 17 January speech laid out some additional protections that we are providing to them. So I think absolutely folks do have a right to privacy.
First of all, he's a lawyer. And I'm going to say that he is either a lawyer for... I'm going to say he's a lawyer for a technology company.
He's very poorly spoken, I thought.
Yes.
Saying and duh and all the rest of it all along. And the connection was crap, which I think the connection is kind of a giveaway of who this guy is. So let's do the reveal. Let's do the big reveal here. And now you can play it.
Number 2?
Let's see.
Ask Adam Answer. That would be the one, right?
That's it.
That's the Deputy Director of the National Security Agency, Rick Leggett, giving a TED Talk actually from Fort Meade, Maryland, in response to Edward Snowden's TED Talk earlier this week.
Yeah, he's at Google headquarters. He's from NSA. Yeah, so I win. Hey!
Okay, I'll give you that, just because it's funnier.
He was doing a hangout from Google.
So that was the connection, the best connection they could get.
Our guys are good, aren't they?
That's the connection, and that's the guy's. And he's not even well spoken, and he's the second guy in command.
Did he say? Let me just go back to something here. Hold on a second. I just want to go back. Let me see if I can reload this guy up. Maybe I should open it up here. He said something which is kind of weird. Hold on. I think it was near the end. Let me just scroll. Uno segundo. Here.
These are called minimization procedures. They're approved by the Attorney General and constitutionally based. And so we protect those. And then for people, citizens of the world.
Citizens of the world? Can we now be citizens of the world suddenly? Where's this world I sign up to?
That's interesting.
Where can I get my world passport? That's how they think.
Citizens of the world.
That's how
unite.
That's how they think, douchebags. All right, and then we have a third one.
No.
Oh,
that's. This is just the kind of the continuation. This is part. They had this guy Soltis, who's taken over Greenwald or whatever the guy was that was writing for the Washington Post about Snowden, and he's discussing this minimization thing and points out a couple of factors that it might play into what you're going to bring up next, but you can play it.
Your response to this, Ashkan Soltani?
Well, the fact that he gave a tech talk is amazing on a number of levels.
Amazing on a number of levels.
But going to the kind of substance of his...
Who is this guy?
This is the reporter for the Washington Post who took over all the Snowden leak stories.
He took over from Barton Gellman?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, this guy,
the lead. He seems like the lead guy.
This guy's a dick. He's a dick.
He's a reporter for the Washington Post. Hello?
Anybody who says the fact that we were graced by the presence through a Google Hangout of someone from the NSA at a TED Talk was so amazing on so many levels. Whoa! What are the levels? Levels.
Your response to this, Ashkan Soltani?
Well, the fact that he gave a tech talk is amazing on a number of levels. But going to the kind of substance of his speech there, one thing to realize is, in fact, yes, the NSA does employ minimization procedures when they encounter U.S. persons' information. For example, in bulk surveillance, if they are to discover that voice communications or email communications belong to an American, and they've determined that it is not of foreign intelligence or other
Stop. Okay, this is the reason I want the clip, not for you to ridicule this guy. And Amy doesn't pick this up. Nobody picks this up. But what he's about to describe, he has 2 points to make. One is that they will minimize your stuff.
Does that mean they click on the middle box with a little line in it?
I don't know what they do. They don't do anything really, but they're supposed to. But when he discusses what they keep the stuff for, do you remember when this all began?
Yes.
It was about, what was the main topic it seemed to be about? I think terrorism. It was about terrorism.
Yes.
And everybody was a little upset about, well, this is just what the FBI and these guys have always wanted to do, which is do a dragnet.
Yes.
Let's just have illegal wiretaps on everybody. And we just listen in, and if there's anything that's
it's called retro. It's not. They just want to have everything. And this was your point. You made it early on. Have everything, store everything, collect upstream collection of everything. And if at a certain point Dvorak doesn't pay his parking tickets, Hey, let's pull his file. And then we go and listen to all of your conversations. Mimi, I really need to finish the book. Please listen to John's conversations, please. All right, here we go.
And that is not of foreign intelligence or other kind of national security interests, right? So they could be under counterterrorism, counter-narcotics. I think in that speech he describes human trafficking. He describes, money laundering. There's a number of kind of missions that the data could become useful for. But if it's determined that it's a U.S. person and it's not valuable to any of those broad missions, then there is minimization in place.
Yeah, which we know is a lie. Which we know is a lie because you have the Abouts collection, which was very clearly and this was whoever Bezos, get me Bezos on the phone. Hello, Bezos. Where the hell is Bezos?
Yeah.
Hello, Bezos.
Yeah.
You got to do the laugh. Hey, Jeff, you got this new guy who's in for Barton Gellman over there at your Washington Post property, the thing you bought for $250 million? Yeah. That guy's a dick, and he doesn't understand that if you put bad guy at gmail.com or terrorist at yahoo.com in an email, that then you can also be spied on by the agency. Could you please tell him that or fire him or, I don't know, do something about that?
Sounds like he's doing his job to me.
Jeff, your voice got all kind of authoritative. What happened to the wimpy with the stupid laugh thing?
This guy points out that the kind of another gotcha besides the, bad guy or me sending you an email with the guy's name.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great gimmick, is that apparently he points this out and it's obvious too, that all the Google stuff is replicated around the world. So they just essentially go to the server in Iceland. I didn't know they had one there, but they do. And just take it from there, and it's legal.
Yeah,
There's no problem. They're not it's trading on any American products or servers.
Exactly.
So they got all this stuff. I mean, this is stupid.
And by the way,
fact that we're putting up with this is
I'm not putting up with it. I don't use Gmail. I do not use the Google 8.8.8 DNS.
In the broader sense, I use Gmail for one thing.
Yeah, to send me clips.
To send you clips.
And yes, everyone, I do think it's very funny when you send me an email and add at the bottom, hey, how about that bad guy at google.com? Everyone's sending me email with, hey, terrorist at gmail.com. That guy's shit. Yeah, thanks. So I get all these aboots.
Just put a bunch of Arabic in his email that you send him, and then that'll do the trick.
So here's what, do you recall... The Department of Defense has a blogger. They have an Armed with Science blogger. And she did that really creepy interview with Kaiser Alexander.
Right.
Do you remember with the creepy music and everything?
Yes, I vaguely remember that.
Right. So she's back. And she's back. Yes, and she has a new creepy video complete with creepy intro. In fact, I'll just play the intro. And this is the National Security Agency, part of the Defense Department, part of the United States military, who put this out.
In January of 2014, President Obama announced several initiatives to give the public greater confidence in the oversight of several National Security Agency programs. The creation of a full-time civil liberties and privacy officer was among the reforms cited. "7 weeks ago, Becky Richards became the official civil liberties and privacy officer for the NSA.
How creepy is that?
Can you slow that down?
I tried this multiple times, and it can't
be any creepier.
No, it doesn't make it creepier. It's unnecessary. And this is their music. It's how the video begins and how it ends with it. That is
these guys are lost. They're lost.
No, these guys are insane, John. They are fucking insane. They're whacking off to this crazy shit. Anyway, so there's this interview with Becky Richards, who, before she was hired for this, was a senior director for privacy at the Department of Homeland Security. After a rigorous and lengthy interview process, I've selected an expert whose background will bring additional perspectives and insight to our foreign intelligence activities. That's what Kaiser Alexander said. So I've pulled a couple clips from this interview, which I think are very relevant. The first one is she's going to explain what her job is. And this woman is so drugged out, she can't even explain her job in the No, you'll hear she'll go... She's waiting for the programming to kick in.
So it's a new position that was announced back in August by the president, and my job is to advise the director as well as the entire agency on how to build privacy and civil liberties considerations into all that NSA does. Now, it's a new position at NSA, but throughout the federal government, there are a number of positions. So there's privacy officer and civil liberties and privacy officer positions throughout. So the concept is not unusual or new. The privacy profession has been growing for the last 15 years or so.
Please, again, note the music that is put under this interview because, God forbid we just listen to her talk and with her mouth open when she's trying to explain her job, and she flutters with her eyes.
Oh, she's fluttering?
Yeah. She's closing her eyes.
She's full of crap.
Yeah, she's closing her eyes and fluttering, trying to remember what her job is. But wait! She's now going to tell us, because this is really her job really is just to be a PR spokeshole for the agency and some figurehead because she's the chief privacy officer. She's now going to explain how privacy and respect for civil liberty is really embedded in the agency, John. And she has an analogy for it which just makes me feel warm and fuzzy all over. Again, music provided by your national security agency.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. So I've been at NSA for about 6 weeks now. And from certainly what you'd read in the newspapers, it sounds like there aren't a lot of protections in place. But I've been really impressed by what are the existing privacy and civil liberty protections that are in place. The agency is extraordinary, has a culture of great compliance. And so if you tell people what it is they're supposed to do, they are absolutely doing it. As I like to say, that it seems that their compliance is in their veins. They really understand what it means to protect privacy.
Compliance is in their veins. They really know what it is to protect people's privacy. You see, what this is turning into right now, and you'll hear it now, is the National Security Agency. They protect your privacy and civil liberties. Do you see where this is going? This is the change.
Oh, I like it.
And you'll hear her, and her actually, this is her real job description.
Some of my job is helping to translate what it is the agency is doing now to protect privacy and civil liberties, and then also to work on a going forward basis to build privacy into new technologies and make sure that we're considering it and that we're documenting what those considerations are.
Okay. So this warrants a little, we have to stop here for a second. Part of her job is translating to the stupid, low citizenry, the cannon fodder, useless eaters, translating to them, because I guess we don't speak your language, that we are protecting your privacy and civil liberties. Listen again with those ears I just put on you.
Some of my job is helping to translate what it is the agency is doing now to protect privacy and civil liberties.
Translating what the agency is doing now to protect privacy and civil liberties. Thank you. Thank you. I feel much safer now. Much, much safer. And now, we're going to talk about how we really are protecting your privacy. But we won't really show it for a little while.
I want to ensure that we build privacy and civil liberties considerations into what the agency does and ensure that the right people are making the right decisions as it relates to those assessments. And so identifying where we can work within existing processes to build those assessments in and build off of existing work that's happening there so that a year or 3 years or 5 years from now, we're able to comfortably demonstrate what it is we're doing. There's a lot of discussion about how we...
What is that? So we'll show you in 5 years from now. We'll be comfortable to show you what we're doing. When we've all been trained and shoehorned into submission? What does this mean? In 5 years, I want to be able to comfortably tell you what we're doing.
From now, we're able to comfortably demonstrate what it is we're doing.
Well, why not now? What, are you not comfortable with demonstrating what you're doing right now, Becky?
Where we can work within existing processes to build those assessments in and build off of existing work that's happening there, so that a year or 3 years or 5 years from now, we're able to comfortably demonstrate what it is we're doing. There's a lot of discussion about how we do protect privacy, and what I want to do is be able to demonstrate that through documentation and through protections.
All right, so there you go. In 5 years, she'll have the documentation of how our privacy was protected or created. Or whatever.
Well, this is obviously a bogus position. Let me just, she's on LinkedIn. Oh. And her full name is actually
Rebecca?
Becky Richards Gorham.
Gorham?
Yeah, I can't find any reference to a Gorham, but I bet you there is something, and they don't want to use that.
G-O-R-H or G-O-H or what is it?
G-O-R-H-A-M. So she is the senior, according to LinkedIn, she's a senior privacy, blah, blah, blah. She went from... She was at George Washington University, from what I can tell, 2 years, and didn't do anything before that. At least this is the wit she has on LinkedIn. She's not very
active on LinkedIn
about her background.
She's a spook.
Or something. So she left George Washington University in 2000. There is nothing about her until 2004.
Right.
So from 2000 to 2004, she was a big spook. I don't know. Maybe just playing dice on the corner. Then she went to the Department of Homeland Security in 2004 to become the senior, out of the blue, senior director of privacy compliance, meaning they don't give a crap. And then she kind of went up to director of privacy compliance. And this is one of those things where when you're called a senior and a junior and all the rest of it, it doesn't mean you're senior. The director is the one that runs it. She was the director until they moved her just recently to this. So she doesn't know anything. She's never worked a day in her life, it seems to me.
No.
And she sounds it. She sounds like some sort of a valley dingbat.
She looks.
These are the kind of people that are protecting your privacy. This is essentially the government saying, "Hey, we'll put a privacy director in. We got this woman. We'll just put her there." That says, "Screw you, public. Screw you. We don't need anyone that actually gives a crap."
Intelligence work takes place within a strong legal framework. We operate under the rule of law and are accountable for it. In some countries, secret intelligence is used to control their people. In ours, it only exists to protect their freedoms. Protect their freedoms. Protect their freedoms. Protect.
Now listen to their audio. I mean, that was me goofing around.
In January
this is real.
2014,
this is real.
President Obama announced several initiatives to give the public greater confidence.
This is the creepiest thing I've ever heard, John.
Agency programs. The creation of a full-time civil liberties and privacy officer.
Unbelievable.
I can't even listen to it. It's
privacy officer has been created for your benefit.
To protect
no shoes or no shirts, no service.
To protect your freedom. To protect your freedom. People, get off of Facebook. Get off of Twitter. Get off of Gmail. Get off it. You'll see.
Which reminds me of a clip I have.
Oh.
I've decided I'm going to do this, a regular feature if someone wants to make a jingle. It's 1 year ago today. I actually have two clips from 1 year ago today, because when I put these clips into my file, when I look for them, I haven't archived the old clips, so the dates are like, wait a minute. Oh, no, that's from last year.
Wait a minute. You have a file and you actually found something in it? Oh.
So we forgot about this. It's also, now it's become NPN Media, but it was then called, and we played this. So this is one of these companies, and they're very involved early on with native advertising and all the rest, mostly for TV. And they have most of the U.S. markets. They got stations in Chicago and New York, all big ones. CBS affiliates mostly, by the way.
Yeah.
Because these guys came out of CBS. And you'll remember this. This is NewsProNet.
NewsProNet, an industry leader providing highly promotable content for more than a decade, and now reaching more viewers than ever before with our new online vertical content. You can own the most powerful position on air and online with NewsProNet. We are uniquely qualified to create, produce, and distribute short-form video content that can reach around the world or around the block. Woo-hoo! It's what we've been doing successfully since 1997, when we launched NewsProNet with the NBC network as our first investor and major client. Since then, our stories have been viewed more than 1 billion times by millions of people. Our award-winning team of professionals has worked hard to earn the trust of our customers and partners. NewsProNet delivers. SweepsFeed, our premier on-air product, delivers ratings and revenue for local broadcasters. 8 highly promotable news stories a month. Stories you won't find anywhere else. Clients include stations owned by CBS, ABC, Belo, Scripps, Meredith, and many more. SweepsFeed always answers the question, how do I do more for less?
Wait a minute. I'm looking at this. They've got Megyn Kelly. They've got Ronan. Ronan's a part of this outfit.
What are you looking at?
NewsProNet. NPN. Well, all right. Pay no attention to me. All right. I do remember this. And they make bullshit news and syndicate it out, right?
They don't. No, they. Yeah. Well, that's basically what.
What do you mean? No. yes.
They get hired to do it. It's not like they just do it.
Oh, okay, but
it's not like, hey, let's make some bull crap news and put it out there.
Well, no, they do it for money.
Yes, they do it for money for companies, corporations that say, look, we got to get more of this papilloma virus sold. We got it backed up in the warehouse. You know what inventory tax is like? It's horrible, especially in the United States. We got to move this stuff. What can you do for us?
Let's see what they got. Let's see. They got No More TV, as in KNOW.
Oh, by the way, so No More TV, which says No More TV.
Right.
Is one of their little outlets, and I checked out. That is like even more frightening than the NewsProNet thing.
Let's look at their advertisers and brands. Hold on, let's see. Who do we have? Advertisers brand. Oh, that's just 4 advertisers brands. No More TV on Espanol. Let's see. What? Do they have any video? Did you not clip a whole bunch of really good stuff here? Live smart. Be healthy. No more. Feeling off after a long flight? No More's Lucy Segal dishes about ways you can get your mind and body back in the right time zone.
Yeah, no, I just discovered this
what
late.
Is this? How about China Link? What's on the China Link?
I don't know. I don't even see the China Link.
Well, get to know the Chinese in their own backyard. Africa. The latest addition to NPN Media's growing list of content brands, China Link, was developed to inform and entertain viewers about China and its people. As the world becomes interconnected, and with China becoming one of the 2 largest economies, understanding the Chinese and their way of life grows in importance and relevance. We cover a variety of business, culture, health, and wellness lifestyle topics. Blah, blah, blah. I want to see some of their dumb stuff. Our clients, list of clients. Here we go. Who is using these jabronis? Okay. Oh, this is... Oh, my goodness. Okay, I get it. Their clients are actually the TV stations.
Yeah.
And then here's the... Oh, my wow. Who do they have in the big markets? Let's see. New York, they have
WCBS.
LA, KABC. Chicago. So these are the people that put together the packages.
NPN puts together the packages.
Yeah, NPN puts together the packages and distributes it out to their clients, which is this list.
And they run them full cloth.
Oh, crap, we could do this.
Yeah, we could. I don't think we want to.
You got to work on your legs, though.
Well, they just need shaving.
Advertising solutions. Wow. Well, you're right. This is not something we want to do. Spokesperson or celebrity?
This is something from a year ago that we talked about already, and I want to, because we have a lot of new listeners, and I want to revisit some of these things.
Yeah.
And this is a good one that we have to be aware that this is going on, so we don't wow, did you see that article on how Diet Coke, doesn't have as much sugar?
Yeah, and I'll say that we've received an inordinate amount of emails recently from people who aren't even seeing that the article they're sending us, Steck, I'm looking at you, that it's native advertising. This happens a lot.
There's no excuse. I mean, how much do we have to discuss this before people start to see it for what it is, these stories?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's how it goes.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, oh, No Agenda in the morning.
All right, you do have a few people to thank. I want to thank them.
Please do.
Including Anonymous from Colorado, $120 in Grand Junction. It was a double $60 donation. He wanted to get on the list of, but these things, the 600's over.
Yep.
But thanks, we really appreciate it. Also, Brian Edelin in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, party town, $111.11. And he says when Club 33 reopens, please bring Dasha to the stage.
When is this? Come on, this is getting crazy. Can't we get?
I told you already.
I understand that, but can't we get like a temporary, at least for one weekend or one Thursday, so we can just do a couple dances?
Rent out another club and just to get these women some attention?
How about a warehouse or a tent?
A rave.
Yeah, something like that. Let's do the rave. We got the girls backed up.
Dancers at the rave.
Girls are backed up out the door. We've got to get these girls on stage. When are we going to do it?
10 girls that are okay. I'm going to try to expedite this. Find some way around the problem, or we just open the club illegally. Who cares?
Exactly. Let's do it on Thursday.
Martin Fellner, 7777. He is in Austria. Going under Salzach.
Österreich.
In Österreich. You're right. Correct. He does have a note I want to read. He says, I read the last newsletter, decided that John deserved $10 for the awesomely adorable puppy picture. But then I came home, started listening to the show, and I hear this dipshit of a woman say, a small black hole would suck in our entire universe. Like the black hole that is maybe located at the center of the Milky Way and has lots of other galaxies. What about a big black hole then? You open her skull, the entire universe would probably be sucked in. When you top it off with some douchebag supposing you could fly a missing plane across half the world without being detected, I punched the wall to make the mental pain go away. Sorry, I can only give so little. Please save us.
Hey, this next donation is an interesting one.
Luca Botinic in
Yeah.
Amsterdam, $75.75.
Did you read this one?
No, it's my donation to Show 601. It's also my congratulations for your father's baptism, Adam. This show just confirms that we are in the last days before the glorious coming of our Lord. I'm inviting all No Agenda born-again Christians to donate and pray for you guys. That's interesting.
And it says, Jesus is Lord, be blessed.
Yeah, well.
Luca. Well, thank you, Luca. That's very kind of you. And at least we're going out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah. Yeah. With that woman running Homeland Security or whatever she did.
She's protecting your freedoms and your privacy.
Yeah, she's going to protect nothing.
69, dudes!
Looks like Peter Suzuki in Kirkland, Washington. And he has a birthday shot. We have it on the list.
Yeah.
Jose Abreu in Lisbon, Portugal.
Lisboa.
And he's got a karma we'll put at the end and a thank you for your courage.
Yeah.
Also, Michael Robb, 6969 from Ottawa.
I think it's Michelle Robb.
What did I say? Michael? Oh, sorry,
yeah.
Michelle.
My husband...
Michelle donates commonly.
Let me read her note. My husband, Murray, has been a dedicated listener since day one. He's also made me a fan. I'm surprising him with this donation. I also wanted to mention we are excited to be expecting our first baby in September. We plan to raise our baby with the beliefs the show has taught us. Can I please have some karma as I'm now getting over the morning sickness? That would be in the morning sickness. And I hope to have a smooth second trimester. Well, congratulations, Michelle and Murray. And we got karma for you and the forthcoming human resource coming up in just a little bit. And thank you very much for
Raymond Bressler, Arlington, Washington.
Yeah, and that closes it out.
69, dudes!
You go from Euro, $68. That's what it says. I think I know who that is. Tanya Cylinder. It's got to be Cylinder, not Cylinder. In Montreal, Quebec, 66. She's been a listener since the 2-digit days. And she's pursuing a PhD. Love you guys for giving me the real news. Sir Daniel Hutner in Mountain Ranch, California, $60.20. Paul Levy, $60.02 from Grinnell, Iowa. Onward we go to 50. Drops off quickly today.
Yeah, it does.
50. This is Lucas Zua for $53.94. I think is the euros. And then to go through rigmarole, you got to click on this and that, and you get the money is elsewhere. Anyway, and it comes in on some other. It's PayPal. Macy Stolowski in Calgary, where all the money is. Steve Marchi, Sunnyvale, California. Thanks, amazing stuff. We'll give you some karma to Pete and the boys at the end. Howard Kraut.
Of the fabulous evil Kraut brothers. Yep.
The Kraut brothers. Longmont, California. T. Abel in Bergfield, Berkshire, UK. Nice. Jason Daniels. These are all $50 donors in Dallas, Texas. Peter Colvin, Ballymena, Antrim, which I believe is, where is that? It's not in the United States. United Kingdom, sorry. Eric Veet in Dublin, California, right up the street from me. David Trotsky, who comes in monthly with from Wilmington, Delaware, 50. Bogdan Lachendro. Across the top of the check, which is mailed in, it's emblazed. Bogdan Lachendro, which has got to be code for something. I want to thank these folks and all the others who donated lesser amounts to show 602. And remind you, we have 603 coming up on Thursday. We will probably reopen the club and move through the women.
Did you know that appealing for donations on the internet without a license is illegal now in Finland?
No, I didn't know that. We have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 Finnish producers.
Yes, all monies collected require a permit in Finland. If you do it on the internet, you have to.
Well, how does that work when you're not in Finland?
I don't know. As long as we don't do it in Finnish, I guess we're okay. However, what's interesting is Wikipedia. Here, the National Police Board of Finland has decided not to take any action against Wikipedia over its appeal for donations in Finland. Collecting money without a permit is illegal, but the board has decided not to act against the online encyclopedia, and they have a reason for it. I think it's because it's culturally relevant or something. There's some weird thing they've got going on where it's okay.
We need clarification on this, you Finnish producers.
Yeah. Do you hear an echo? Is there an echo here? 1, 2.
No, maybe not coming through here.
Maybe it's just in my head.
Probably. Around that black hole.
Thank you all very much for supporting the program. We really do appreciate it.
General karma?
Yeah, we got some general karma for everybody who needs it. There you go.
You've got karma.
And we got a couple birthdays.
It's your birthday. Oh, no agenda.
Happy birthday, CJ Covell. Howie Kraut says happy birthday to Paul Kraut of the Evil Kraut Brothers, celebrating on the 24th. Piotr Suzuki says happy birthday to Bartolo Suzuki, turning 33, magic numbers. And Sir Daniel Hutner, happy birthday to his son Boyd Ellis Hutner, turning 2 years old today. Happy birthday from your buddies here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
And we do have, I've got a Black Knighting. This is, now let me see. Adam and John have been donating the show for the past 6 months. I got to knighthood on episode 5, 9, or 3. However, I was never knighted, even though the show notes do list me as Sir Brett Mahoney. I bugged John a few times. Anyway, Adam, I figured I'd ask you, and there you go. So he will be a Black Knight because we blew it on that one. I don't know how that happened. It does happen, obviously, when you're running this huge organization with
all by yourself,
two guys,
and two guys, a microphone, and some squirrel nuts.
Yes, indeed. So I would like to let me just grab the blade here so we can do this properly. If you can.
Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah, okay. And hit the theme. Perfect. Brett Mahoney and Jonathan Dennison, step forward, gentlemen. Both of you are now going to join the elite club known as the Knights and Dames of the No Agenda Roundtable. And I hereby pronounceticate the Sir Jonathan Dennison and Sir Brett Mahoney Black Knight of the No Agenda Roundtable. For you, I've got whiskey and wet wipes, bad science and perky breasts, cannabis and Cabernet, hookers and blow, rent boys and Chardonnay, hot pants and booze, Rubenesque woman and rosé, geishas and sake, vodka and vanilla, sparkling cider and escorts, and mutton and mead, and your rings. If you go to noagendanation.com/rings, there you can pick up your ring, your sealing wax, your official piece of paper that you now are licensed to go out and hit people in the mouth. Hey-o!
Indeed.
War on Men. I just would like to point out one of these little War on Men ditties that is pissing me off.
Mm-hmm.
This, of course, is another. We're getting close to election season, obviously, which means we have to do everything to discredit the other guys. And the Democratic Party is very, very good at this. Republicans love guns. Mothers of the world, you must never vote for a Republican because. Bleh. Then we have what was the other one we picked up on the other day? It was a new one. Well. But for sure, we know that Republicans hate women. And
they hate women. There's a war on women.
Yeah, they hate women. Now, the president has his little podcast, which about 1900.
We haven't seen this podcast or listened to this podcast for quite some time
now. Yes. And, of course, I love the podcast because, we always start off with In the Morning and all that stuff. And he always starts off with, hi, everybody. Now, he's going to say something in here. And this is another one of these statistics. Now, the last one we debunked, which is just factually not true, there's no data to back it up that we can find or that has been presented to us in the #BanBossy campaign. That campaign states women do 66% of the work but only make 10% of the money. And this is a statement that goes back to 1989 by some douche knuckle from an NGO, and there's no data to back it up, but it's just being rolled out. Have you heard the new one?
I'm sure I will.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
This week I visited a community college in Florida where I spoke with students about what we need to do to make sure our economy rewards the hard work of every American. More specifically, I spoke about making sure our economy rewards the hard work of women.
Okay.
Today, women make up about half of our workforce and more than half of our college graduates. More women are now their family's main breadwinner than ever before. But in a lot of ways, our economy hasn't caught up to this new reality yet. On average, a woman still earns just 77 cents for every dollar a man does. And too many women face outdated workplace policies that hold them back, which in turn holds back our families and our entire economy. A woman deserves to earn equal pay for equal work.
Okay. Now, this is where something really tricky happened here. And I'm going to play his parrot, Al Sharpton, so you can hear what has now been launched into the stratosphere.
Women make about 77 cents for every dollar a man makes for doing the same job. Don't Republican needs to be more sensitive to issues like that?
Don't Republican needs to be sensitive to issues more like that? All right, whatever, Al.
Well spoken.
Now, what is being said here is that women make 77 cents to the male dollar for the same job. That is a lie. Now, the president didn't actually say that, but what he said was women make 77 cents for every dollar a man earns, and then later he says women deserve to have equal pay for equal work. The statistic is not true for the same job. The statistic, in some regards, holds true, but then you're looking across all jobs that are held by men and women. Okay? So it is absolutely not true that women receive 77 cents on the dollar that men receive for the same job. While it sometimes, of course, does happen, that is not an across-the-board statistic. The statistic is 77 cents to the male dollar across the board for all jobs. But you watch, and this is going to be in the lexicon, just like the 1989 bull crap, 66% of the work for 10% of the pay, and it is factually untrue. And I looked this up. You know where I got the PolitiFact, which I hate because they're douche. But PolitiFact is even calling the president on this. But you watch, it's got legs. And everyone's going to be saying, well, they only get 77 cents for every dollar a man earns for the same job. And it's not true. And you just heard Al Sharpton pick it up and lie about it.
Yep. All right. Well, I would put that in the book, but it's so obvious.
No, you don't have to put it in the book.
I think one thing we do have to put in the book, and I mentioned that we might discuss that. I put it in the newsletter as a possibility, and I want to discuss it just for a minute, because we're the only show that would even breach this topic, which is Bill Clinton and his future.
Yes. Now, if we look at the book, we have in here...
I cannot find... Okay, hold on.
Well,
we started talking about this about a year and a half ago, maybe longer.
We put in the book that Hillary will kill Bill, or let's just say he will die.
We have that part, yeah.
And he will die.
She'll have him killed. She's not going to choke him or anything.
And he will die in the saddle, though that's already set up.
That would be out. No, I don't. Hold on a second.
That's in the book. I know it's in the book.
Who said it? Me or you? I'm the one who always says in the saddle.
You said that.
Well, here's the deal.
And then I said he's going to die before the election, and you said he's going to die some other time.
No. I always said before the election because to give Hillary a boost at the end.
Oh, you are lying now.
My thinking was it was right before the election if she needed the boost.
Would you please find the entry?
Why would she kill him after the election?
No.
She needs the votes.
No, yeah.
She wants a sympathy vote. It was my theory that she would get a sympathy vote.
Oh, you are so okay. Fine.
No.
Fine.
You can lie. You.
Fine.
I don't know what you're thinking.
Fine.
Here's what the argument was. The argument was you said he was going to get killed this year, and I said no. It's going to be closer to the election.
Okay, that may be possible. So I still have 9 months?
No, I'm saying we're pulling the Red Book entry and we're restating it now, so it can be. With newest information, I think we can restate it and rediscuss it because I think things have changed.
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
Exactly. Good call. So, and I think it's this little thing with the two whores. He's got a picture with a
hello,
grin.
sex workers. Sex workers. They're from the Bunny Ranch, not whores.
Okay, they're sex workers.
Entertainers.
You're right. Actually, you're right.
You should retract that.
They're not whores. They're sex workers. Although hanging out with that douchebag they were hanging out with.
That does put you in the whore category.
They were whorish. Well, so they got Clinton. And people who got the newsletter, they saw what we're talking about, and I think that Hillary has got to start thinking about the timing of this because she's going to be if she kills him really close to the election, I think that it's not going to necessarily help her campaign.
She has to kill him now, which is what I've always said.
I think you might be right.
Now, did you know that?
I never said she was going to kill him after the election.
No, you're right. I
think you might be right because there's going to be it's a two-phase thing. First he dies.
Yes.
And then they're going to have a big, ceremony, and it's all going to be about him. And they're not going to be talking about anybody else. It's about Bill. And then the crackpots will be coming out, the conspiracy people. Oh, Hillary killed him, which, of course, we already predicting.
Which, of course, is what I'll be saying.
Yeah, you'll be saying it. We'll all be saying it. But that will die. And that needs a period to die. That little idea that she would do this in some way, shape, or form. Even though she's got access to all the same murderers.
Well, let's see.
This changes things. We have to relook at this.
Here is now, as you know, I'm a time traveler, and I went into the future. This is why it's so easy for me to make all these bets about iWatch and all this stuff because I'm a time traveler. Did I tell you the name of the new pope before anyone knew it?
Yeah.
Okay. What am I? Time traveler. And I came back from the future.
The only thing that makes sense.
I came back, yes, from the future, and I have a clip. I brought a clip with me from the future. I need future clip music. Hold on. Do we have this? I have a clip from the future of Hillary after she kills Bill.
So, that is the land of unconfirmed.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
There you go. From the future, John.
Yeah.
From the future.
So let's rethink this whole thing. Now, if Bill's not healthy, so and he doesn't look good.
Hold on, I got to come back from the future. That time travel,
Glad you like
puts
that.
hair on your chest.
You put a harp in your office.
Puts hair on your chest. Yeah. There's he's mentioned in this Pedo Bear lawsuit. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay. Jeffrey,
he's got to go.
Yeah.
He's out of control.
No, this is what Jeffrey Epstein, banker dude, hedge fund asshole, obviously, arrested in 2008 for soliciting an underage prostitutes. In the lawsuit now, there's information about Bill, how he took multiple trips to Epstein's private island, where he, quote, kept young women as sex slaves. They have all of his the jet logs of how many times Bill went over there. Now, you can do a lot of things with Hillary. Underage hookers, she draws the line at that. On this private Caribbean island, what do they call this thing? Like Little St. James. Ugh. And
Little St. James.
So one of these, she's now of age. One of these then underage women. What was her name? I think they have a code name for her. They
better have a code name for her.
No, they do. Or
she's dead.
She'd be dead. Yeah. What was it? I'm looking for it now. Oh, Jane Doe 102.
Okay.
Says she was
forced.
How
many of these women are there?
At least 102. Wow, that's a good point. She was forced to live as one of Epstein's underage sex slaves for years and was forced to have sex with politicians, businessmen, royalty, academics, etc., according to the lawsuit.
Do we have the lawsuit filings?
No, I do not. I'm looking for them. We'll get them. We'll get them. This
is important. This is part of this discussion. This is another angle we have to consider. So I'm changing my whole idea that it's going to be just before the election for a quickie.
It's got to be. It's got to. It would be good this year because look, we're already the plane thing is played out. If you want to get this MH370 off the screen, kill Bill.
Take another week.
Kill Bill.
Now here's the deal. And by the way, that movie named Kill Bill is kind of fortuitous.
Hello.
We're going to pick we're going to do a Deadpool. I know it sounds sick, and it's actually ghoulish. And people out there should, if you don't like what we're talking about, it's just the way the show goes sometimes.
Yeah, we can't help it.
I want us to have a Deadpool where maybe we can even let some of the listeners join in. We have a donation.
We want calling dates now? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Wow. Huh. Well, it's got.
And I don't want. Here's the problem. Now, here's the old problem. It was always with this, and maybe we should bring other people. We have to discuss this further. But if you said, "Well, I think it'll be January 10th, 2015," and then I say January 11th, because so I get covered all the way to the end, and you don't have any versatility on the other side. Of course, I don't have any versatility on this side either.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know how to do this so it works, but we need. I'm now in your camp that it's going to be sooner than later, but I still think it'll be in 2015, at least a year before the election.
No, do you know how much work it takes to get a lot of setup? I think it could take us all the way into the pre-election season, which it's already starting basically. And she needs to announce, so we need months and months of mourning and retrospectives and, and interviews.
You're thinking it's going to be within the next 60 days.
I'm thinking maybe even less than that. I'm thinking with this lawsuit, he's got to go now. He's got to go. The underage thing, it's one thing. Hookers, okay. The underage hookers, sorry, that's unacceptable. He's got to go.
Well, okay, we'll put off this discussion until we get to look at that document. It's got to be filed somewhere.
Let's do that. Okay, I'm on the lookout for the document. A good point. I think that's the.
And
that's
I want to see the document too. So if either one of us finds it, we have to send it to the other guy.
Yeah, of course. No, I wouldn't withhold that.
Actually,
from
this
you.
would be some good. This would be a good make good for Steck.
I would. Yeah.
After he sent us this piece of crap,
the native advertising. Steck, get us the lawsuit. All right, we got lots of lawyers listening to this show.
Yeah, we got lots of lawyers.
Now, speaking of hookers, as you know, I think it starts tomorrow. The Netherlands has been turned into Gitmo Nation proper. There's tanks on the roads. The Dutch people are going, what is this? Because of the big nuclear summit.
Right.
And everyone's going to be there. Now they actually are, what I told you a week ago on this show, now they actually are saying in public, oh, that plane might show up as a bomb. Going to kill everybody in the... I'm not kidding. This is in the newspaper. It's in the newspaper now. But more importantly, we know that the escort companies have been booked way more in advance than usual, and of course, they all have to sign their non-disclosures and everything. All the escorts were all primed and pumped and ready, pun intended. But here's what's interesting: at the meeting table at the forum in The Hague, lunch will be served only by male servers, no females. And all men, yes, and all men will be at least 25 years of age because they don't want anyone being distracted.
All these horn dogs coming into town?
Yes. The director of Van der Linde Catering says that this is exactly what they have been asked to do, is to have...
They've been asked to do this because it's that bad of a problem?
Yeah. It literally says we do not want the attendees being distracted
by a waitress.
Yes,
serving food.
This is in the newspaper, so I presume someone did the research on it. Yeah.
Hey, look at her.
I'm thinking this is great. I mean, a bunch of guys are like, hey, look at that guy's hot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's exactly the opposite. I'm thinking it's a bunch of horn dog gay guys at this thing.
Maybe that's why they made it. The thing. We don't want any women in here distracting us from the good-looking men.
The good-looking dudes.
Could be.
You're
just misinterpreting it.
Yeah, it could be. I'm just reading it as it comes in. It's funny.
What is this summit supposed to accomplish?
I think what it's going to accomplish is the ICBMs in Poland. This is how convenient is it that we have this whole Russia thing going on with Ukraine? And why don't we just, while we're at it, why don't we just have a nuclear summit and talk about where we're going to put the rockets back?
This is not going to end well.
Yeah, I have a bad feeling about this as well. It's so obvious that the media is complicit in making this. Witness the Obama bots who are, Putin's a bad guy. You can't say he's a good guy. Well, no. Unlike who? Like Cheney? These were good guys? What are you talking about? And yeah, Rumsfeld, Brennan, current douchebags that are running killing missions. Yeah, no, none of these guys are good.
And talking about that, I have a clip.
Okay.
Now, there's two-parters. It's called impeachment. And this was Wilkerson, that was the chief of staff for Colin Powell, just bitching about everything on one of Thom Hartman's spin-off shows called Great Brains or something. Hartman is a pathetic interviewer, by the way. But this guy went off the rails here, and I thought he was making sense.
On Contra, maybe even Clinton. They were petty crimes. They didn't rise to the level of what our founding fathers might have called high crimes and misdemeanors. Article 2 of the Constitution has an impeachment clause in it. I think the founders would be astounded, utterly astounded to a man. Elbridge Gerry, Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, you name one of the founders that we know. They'd be astounded we hadn't thrown some bastard out every generation. We've just not used that clause properly. It certainly should have been used against George W. Bush. If there was anyone who should have been impeached, successfully removed from office, it was George W. Bush. So in that vein, the nature of those crimes, in my view, and I think we need that 6,000-plus page report from the Senate Select Committee. I think we need the Panetta report. We need these things out so we can look at them as Americans. With that in mind, I think President Obama made a grave mistake in not doing something about the previous administration's high crimes and misdemeanors.
That was a good point. It's the second article. It's about the executive office in the Constitution, and there is it's fairly clear in there. There's an impeachment process if you don't like the guy for some reason, or he's a criminal. Mm-hmm. I mean, we did have Spiro Agnew, who was the first vice president under Richard Nixon, kicked out of office. People always forget about that, for just literally taking bribes in the vice president's office, by the suitcase full. And Nixon did the same thing, but he was never caught. And these guys are essentially either criminals or war criminals, many of them. And we just
right. But only Congress can impeach the president. You can't have what exactly?
Congress doesn't do anything.
But what exactly did Obama do wrong? What
he
could he do?
Obama. He's talking about George W. Bush.
No, he's saying Obama made a severe mistake by what?
By not going after him
when he was senator.
No, when he ran the country the first 2 years of his election, he could have said, we're going to investigate the previous administration for war crimes, and you, congressmen, you all got elected, you're all Democrats, you're all in my camp. He owned the Congress, he owned the Senate. He could have pushed it, and then the Senate would have approved it because he was gold for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
But no, he didn't do shit. He could have put in single-payer health care, too. He didn't do anything. The guy's horrible. He should also be impeached for killing people with drones. Now, here's the second part of it, which is just kind of an interesting addendum.
If you were to draft that bill of impeachment, what would it specify?
I'd have to have those 6,000-plus pages, and then I think I'd have adequate material to frame those articles.
So we don't even know the full extent of...
I think the fright on John Brennan's part right now is that not only will there be people within the CIA who will have to be indicted if this comes out, John Brennan may be amongst them.
Yeah, he should be.
And Hayden?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that Rodriguez guy, the torture specialist.
Felix? No, a different guy.
Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's a lot of people. How about McCain? How about just throw McCain in just for good measure? Just so they have something to eat. Throw that guy in.
So I could put in the Red Book, this 6,000-page document is never going to see the light of day. And if it does, it will be leaked, and it'll be the biggest scandal in the history of the country.
No, I disagree. It will be leaked, and it'll be written about on The Intercept, and no one will see it.
Okay, you say leaked?
Leaked, no one cares. That's what I say.
No one cares, and I say leaked, people care.
Okay. Leaked, no one cares is where I'm going.
Okay, let me got my highlighter back so I can put it so I can find these damn things when I need to.
I need to add a new neocon to the mix in our never-ending F Russia campaign.
Okay, I'm listening.
Madeleine Albright.
Oh yeah.
Madeleine Albright.
She would fit in.
Former
total neocon.
Former Secretary of State. She runs she had pretty sweet outfit she's got going on here. She runs let me see. What is it called? I can't find it now. The Albright Stonebridge Group. And this is a group, if you look at their website, which is it's albrightstonebridge.com. If you go to their homepage here, this is what you do when you get out of Washington, or you don't really ever get out of Washington. We speak the language of business. Oh, whoops, just switched. We go beyond opening doors, working alongside our clients to help navigate challenging markets. Based in Washington and capitals around the world, our advisors provide unparalleled insights, high-level strategic advice, and it's switching too fast. With experience that spans countries and industries, we tailor strategic solutions. We speak the languages of businesses and government, translating opportunities and risks into benefits and rewards. Funny enough, they do a lot of work in Russia, also in China. So what you do is if you want to open up a business, these people, of course, Madeleine Albright, she can pick up the phone and call anybody she wants.
Yeah, including the Kim Jong-un.
If you want, yeah. She can pick up the phone, call anybody. And this is how, they help navigate you. What typically, this is what the job of embassies. This is what an embassy should do. But the embassy guys are too busy drinking and throwing parties for everybody. They don't really do that much.
Yeah, they don't do any work.
No, so and no follow-up, by the way, on my honorary consul. I think that's a dead end.
Uh-oh.
So here's
somebody sent a copy of the show.
Here's Madeleine Albright, and I forget where she's being interviewed, but she is using the
Perfect
same
for that job.
Yeah, Albright is. Here she is, kind of parroting what all the others are saying, and she's really right on board. And of course, she gets on television, and this is very important for the general lexicon of what we're doing here to screw Russia back into the Stone Age.
Well, I do think we need to be more vigilant, and those of us that have dealt with Putin know how he thinks, and he really is nostalgic and believes that he's some kind of a new czar. So,
meme.
He's nostalgic and thinks that he's some kind of new czar.
Huh.
Oh, did you think she ever dealt with Putin? Was he? What? Is there pictures of him and her together? She didn't deal with Putin.
While you're doing that, I'll do a look.
I think that it's when people talk about military force, they always think boots on the ground.
I have a picture of her and Putin smiling at each other and laughing and having a good old time. Ha ha ha! Hey, Vlad, you two-faced bitch. I hate these people.
Believes that he's some kind of a new czar. So I think that it's when people talk about military force, they always think boots on the ground. And there are obviously other ways to think about military force. And I do think that NATO, and through a variety of exercises and support, I think that there is a way that tool has to also be on the table. And vigilance, because one of our other problems, and it came up with the way you talked about Ukraine, David, generally, is we have a very short attention span. We have to see this as a long-term problem. We worked in the 90s to try to get Russia to be a part of the system. We did everything we possibly could. And I think that they now are in a process of isolating themselves. It is dangerous. This is a game changer. And I know we're all focused on the airplane, but the bottom line is this has really, truly long-term implications, and we all need to focus on how to deal with Ukraine, how to deal with U.S.-European relations, try to get our economic treaties, trade treaties done, and then focus on our relations with Russia. Turning Point, I'm very glad that Time has it on the cover, and I'm very glad to have been a part of this discussion.
Okay. Warmonger, throw her in jail along with Brennan. By the way, if you look at a younger picture of her, she looks really a lot like Victoria Nuland.
It's something they shoot him up with. Well, that may be what Victoria Nuland ends up looking like. That would be something to think about.
Well, who needs jail? There you go. So, that's your future, Nuland.
So I have 3 clips from the guy which fits in with what you've got there. This guy was the ambassador to the USSR during Reagan. And he was on one of the Democracy Now! Shows and just yakking away. And he's actually interesting. His name, Jack Matlock is his name. Matlock.
I have to ask Americans, how would Occupy Wall Street have looked if you had foreigners out there leading them? You think that would have helped them get their point across? I don't think so. And I think we have to understand that when we start directly interfering, particularly our government officials, in the internal makeup of other governments, we're really asking for trouble. And, we were pretty careful not to do that in my day. And I recall, for example, when I was being consulted by the newly elected leaders of what was still Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, they were still in the Soviet Union. And they would come to us. We were, of course, sympathetic to their independence. We had never even recognized that they were legally part of the Soviet Union. But I had to tell them, keep it peaceful. If you are suppressed, there's nothing we can do about it. We cannot come and help you. We're not going to start a nuclear war.
Yeah, they're not going to start new. Apparently, nobody's thinking that way anymore. Of course, they don't care.
No.
And here he makes the point about NATO, which I think is more actually even more pertinent.
We're trying to surround Russia with hostile bases. That has raised the emotional temperature of all these things. And that was a huge mistake. As George Kennan wrote back in the 90s when this question came up, the decision to expand NATO the way it was done was one of the most fateful and bad decisions of the late 20th century.
I bet you Don knows this guy, just looking at his career.
Don probably knows him. I'm sure he does. They're both about the same age. This guy's like 85.
Yeah, same age.
Anyway, look at the last clip. He defends the Russians over the Crimean thing.
Russia now has returned Crimea to Russia. It has been most of its recent history in the last couple of centuries been Russian. The majority of the people are Russian. They clearly would prefer to be in Russia. And the bottom line is we can argue till doomsday over who did what and why and who was legal and who was not. I'm sure historians generations from now will still be arguing it. But the fact is, Russia now is not going to give up Crimea. The fact also is, if you really look at it dispassionately, Ukraine is better off without Crimea because Ukraine is divided enough as it is. Their big problem is internal in putting together disparate people who have been put together in that country. The distraction of Crimea, where most of the people did not want to be in Ukraine and ended up in Ukraine as a result of really almost a bureaucratic whim.
You know, it's an interesting guy, by the way. I hope he stays alive long enough to get more out of him. Things that, while everyone in America was watching the stupid people, idiots in black holes and flight simulators and zombie planes, this happened over in Europe.
This morning, prior to the European Council, we signed the political provisions of the association agreement between the European Union and Ukraine. It is a sign of our solidarity with the people of Ukraine, of our support for their aspirations and their thirst for change.
Their thirst for change.
Before the ceremony,
we put his gun to his head and said, this is what you're going to do.
The President of the European Commission and myself, we had a meeting with the Prime Minister Yatsenyuk of Ukraine, who assured us that his government was focusing on answering the people's call for an open and a modern Ukraine. To achieve this, economic and democratic reform and above all inclusiveness are essential. And I am confident that the Ukrainian government and people will succeed on this path.
So I looked at the documents, of course, because I love doing this, and the European Union, they love publishing stuff. And unfortunately, everything that I found still says, you know, this is not the final document. We're talking about the EU-Ukraine Association Agreement. And I have all the complete text, but they say, oh, not until it's been put into the EU journal is it the official. So that anything could have been changed. But paraphrasing two important points, the first $3 billion of aid actually goes directly to Russia. Under a previous agreement, they did a discount agreement with Ukraine for gas bills not paid. This is the most painful $3 billion. And here is the main. So all that pretty talk that Haiku Herman just said there. Here is the line that is most pertinent. The Ukrainian government must, quote, embark swiftly on an ambitious program of structural reforms. I'd say that means they better start learning to speak Greek because that's the model. It's the model. There's just no two ways about it. You're going down, people.
Yeah, you're going to get rubbleized.
Yeah,
rubbleized
to the max.
I got a kick out of this one little side note, which is, by the way, I should mention that Buskill Jr.'s buddy who lived in the Ukraine had a couple of things that he felt we should at least mention. The Ukrainian societies, and this is weird, the Ukrainian society is divided up into three classes. The upper classes, which are equally corrupt Russians and corrupt Ukrainians at the highest levels of governance.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the middle class, which is huge, apparently.
Yeah, it's like here, where they got the...
Yeah, and the middle class is the ones that all want to be Europeans.
Yeah.
The lower class, which is also huge, doesn't want to be European. They'd much rather be Russian. And they're pretty much controlled by the Chinese. It's like, what? I have to do some work on this. On the Chinese triads, the gangs of China apparently have the middle class under their control because they're the only ones who have jobs for these people.
Huh.
And this creates a very strange structure.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
No, it doesn't surprise me. It's just I've never heard one mention of it.
But the Chinese have the mafia. Is it the Yakuza or whatever?
No, that's the Japanese.
Yeah, those
the
guys.
Triads are the Chinese.
Triads, okay.
Yes, the triads that run the third of the country.
Wow.
And they're all over the place, and they're dead set against any of this stuff happening. But
so what's the business? What is it? What is the business? Guys, it must be drugs. Isn't that what the Chinese do?
No, I think it's just about everything. There is a section outside of, I believe it's outside of Odessa, which is the corrupt port. No, they're into, they're like, they run the ports. The Chinese run the ports. They run
right.
They run all this stuff, commerce. They're just running the place.
Well, that really means they run the drugs. That's the main
yeah. There's
thing.
lots of drugs, and there's also lots of black market stuff that doesn't have import duties, which is the stuff coming in from stolen goods. The place is crawling with stolen goods. They probably run. I don't know if they run the hookers, since every woman there seems to be one. Whatever the case. No offense, nobody from Ukraine listens to the show. Whatever the case is, that I got to look into this because this adds a little interesting dimension. But this clip I have, which I think is kind of amusing, is kind of the salt in the wound. This Russian clip. It says Russia wants money from the Ukraine.
And many of those Ukrainian officers and sailors who've been thrown off their boats and bases say they want to stay in the Ukrainian Navy. They'll have to be reassigned somewhere else. And if to add insult to injury, Libby, as the Russian forces were throwing the Ukrainians off those naval ships today, the Russian Prime Minister issued on his Facebook page something saying that now that Crimea is part of Russia again, they're going to try and get back the money they paid to Ukraine to lease those bases in 2012, $11 billion.
Hey, that's a familiar number.
Yeah.
That's exactly the number that the EU has to, that the IMF is going to come up with.
Yeah.
So that's the number. That's where it's going.
I guess.
And then another $3 billion to Russia for the gas. And then there's, I guess, $2 billion left over to snort.
I have no idea.
Yats and crew. Yats and Noodleman, and they're going to have a good time. And a good time. Well, good luck with it. I think there's a religious element to this, too, by the way. This whole Ukraine thing.
Yeah, we probably should look in it.
Yeah, I think there's a Zionist versus Christian.
It's a complicated. It's Orthodox Christians.
Orthodox
two
Christian,
kinds of Orthodox Christians in Ukraine. One is the Russian Orthodox, and the other one's the Orthodox Orthodox.
Yeah, I think there's, and if you look at Yats, Yats is a Jew. I don't know. I can feel it everywhere.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
Why are we involved in it?
Rubbleize that. Rubbleize it.
Yeah, well, rubbleizing will at least get him back to square one, give Bechtel something to do.
Hey, I got to wind up with one little sequence here because tonight there will be something that you can watch, but it won't give you any information. And it is regarding, of course, we're coming up.
American TV.
It's called television. It's called network television. This is the first report that you probably read, although I think it's not entirely true. We won't really know until tomorrow when the judge releases his opinion.
In Florida, an FBI agent has been cleared in the fatal shooting of a Chechen man. Florida state attorney will release his report on Tuesday. 27-year-old Ibrahim Todashev died while he was being questioned about his friendship with Tamerlan Tsarnaev, one of the Boston Marathon bombing suspects. Tsarnaev later died in a gun battle with police.
So the word
he was run over by his brother. Why do they keep changing the story?
Todashev, what is it? Ibrahim Todashev, the guy who was shot in the back of the head by the FBI. So the judge doesn't really publish his opinion until Monday. But everyone is already saying, oh, well, informants tell us that the FBI is getting off. Rachel Maddow, interestingly, is all over this, and she has counted 151 episodes of the FBI shooting someone, killing them, and zero convictions of any agents for doing that. It's all been fair kill. Now, so here's the first thing I want to say. I believe that when the FBI interrogates a subject, there's video. So there's always video, no matter where, in the cell, no matter where they're interrogating somebody, there's a video camera running. So for this to be even a question, I just want to see the video. So we'll see what comes of that tomorrow. Now, the most important thing, we have been waiting for a very important video, the video that shows the Sarnoff brothers placing the bomb into the trash bin, as has been told to us. This is the smoking gun video. And when we were asking about this video a year ago, the governor of the state of Massachusetts, in which Boston is located, claimed, and I pulled the clip, that he knows the video proof is there, but yet he hasn't seen the video either.
Is there anything on the videotape that maybe the public hasn't seen about his reaction that was particularly telling that move the investigation along?
Well, the videotape is not something I've seen. It's been described to me in my briefings. But it does seem to be pretty clear that this suspect took the backpack off, put it down, did not react when the first explosion went off, and then moved away from the backpack in time for the second explosion. So pretty clear about his involvement, and pretty chilling, frankly.
Okay, so and when I went back and listened to this, I would also know. Okay, so the smoking gun consists of this guy putting down the backpack, and then for some reason an explosion goes off somewhere else, but he doesn't react to the explosion, which makes him guilty. Tonight on 60 Minutes on American Television, on the telescreen, there will be the 60 Minutes. There will be 60 Minutes, which is really about 34 after you subtract all the commercials. 34 tonight on CBS. 34 Minutes. They will look at this entire bombing sequence, and I have a promo of who's the guy that runs the 60 Minute show? Pelly. Does he run it?
Pelly, yeah.
Pelly. And he talks about this video and who has seen it, what's in it, what will happen with it, and when it will be shown to the public. I found this to be a thrilling update.
It turned out the evidence that would solve the case had been collected before the first bomb exploded that Monday. The FBI could travel back in time through the lenses of dozens of security cameras up and down Boylston.
Almost 13,000 different videos were obtained, and 120,000, actually more than 120,000 still photographs.
At the FBI lab in Virginia, 120 analysts were searching video feeds from Boston.
What are you looking for? Somebody who just doesn't look similar to others in a crowd who would be watching a race.
Was there a eureka moment in terms of the video? What, at some point somebody said, hey, boss, have a look at this?
Yes, there was. It was, I believe, a Wednesday morning, and we watched that video hundreds and hundreds of times.
Scott, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie. Nora, great to be with you.
What surprised you most about what they had?
Well, the people we just heard from, Charlie, that's Rick Delorier, the special agent in charge of Boston, who was in charge of the overall investigation. And the woman was Stephanie Douglas, who was the number 3 at the FBI, at FBI headquarters, and she was running the investigation from up there. I think the thing that surprised me the most was the manpower, just the sheer manpower. At least 1,000 agents and analysts working on this case all at once, which is how they were able to solve this in just 101 hours.
It's incredible, the massive crime scene, and then 120,000
20,000 still photographs. I'd never heard that before. What was the moment that they thought they had something, that they had the pictures of the Tsarnaev brothers?
A photo analyst in Boston, going through the video again and again and again, noticed this video that has not been seen in public, in which the first bomb goes off. You don't see that, but everybody in the shot, in the video, looks suddenly to their left in shock and surprise. Except one guy. He doesn't look, doesn't turn around, isn't surprised.
Wow, that's a reason to be guilty.
And he walks away. And earlier in that video, he had placed a backpack on the ground. 20 seconds after he walks out of the frame, the backpack explodes, killing an 8-year-old boy, taking the leg from his 7-year-old sister, and wounding many other people right there around that backpack.
Now, before we wrap this clip up, what I think I'm hearing is they don't actually have the shot of the backpack exploding.
Sounds like they should.
It sounds like they don't.
And B, I thought he put it in a garbage can, and I thought that whole thing was about the thing being in a garbage can.
Yeah, no, so it's not in the garbage can.
They've changed the story.
Yes, but listen to what he says. He says the damning evidence they have is an explosion happens, everyone looks except for the Tsarnaev boy. And then earlier in the tape, they have him putting a backpack on the ground, but for some reason, I don't think they have the backpack exploding on video, which is why we have not seen it yet. And the question is...
That was the eureka moment. And frankly, we're told that it is so horrific that they literally watched it 400 times to make sure they understood what was going on, but it took a toll on everyone, including the director of the FBI, when they saw it.
What do you mean by toll?
Charlie, after the bomb explodes and you see what is left there of the people who were standing around the backpack, it's a horrific scene, particularly because they're children. Stephanie Douglas describes in our 60 Minutes story that there is a man on fire. His clothes are on fire. And a police officer leaps on him with his bare hands and puts the fire out with his bare hands with no concern for his own safety. And it's apparently an incredibly moving video. It's not likely to be seen by anyone until the trial.
Oh, okay. So I want to tell you something about American television.
Before you... Okay.
If this video was available, if law enforcement had this video, it would be on TV now.
I agree with that. Also, if there was a guy on fire running around, somebody would have filmed it and it would have been on YouTube.
Yes.
And they changed the story from the garbage can, which they can't seem to find the video of him dropping in the garbage can, to now it's been just left on the street casually, which is a problem as far as I can tell. It's just, no, it's not a...
They are building...
It's not credible.
They're building the narrative. They're building the story.
One more thing. The horrendous aspect of it, that we can't see it, that's why you haven't seen it, because it's so horrible, harkens back to the 911 tapes about Sandy Hook, which nobody would play. We played those tapes on this show.
Yeah, and how horrible were they?
There was nothing on them.
There was nothing. A teacher had
Bill, what are you doing? I don't know. There's some guy roaming around with a gun.
Teacher was shot in the foot.
Why don't you go ask him what he's doing?
I'm the custodian. Yeah.
So that's a lie.
Yeah. And then the tape will never be shown. It's going to be shown in a closed court setting. What we'll have is a drawing of people watching the video in court with their hand to their mouth, like Hillary in the Situation Room. We will not see the video because this is a lie.
Yeah, that would have been played over and over again. And why would you watch it 400 times? What does that even make any sense? We watched it. A bunch of people watched it 400 times.
That is to build the story that the people who count, the people who call the shots in this country, they know. But you don't need to know because you can't handle. You can't handle
the truth.
You can't handle Osama bin Laden's pictures of him dead.
You can't handle that. The 911 tapes from Sandy Hook.
You can't handle that. You slave. Although a child, by the time the child is of age, has seen more murders and killings on television than actually occur in their own town for real, you can't handle it. Shut up, slave. Trust us. We're the government. We're here protecting your privacy and your freedom. And you can't, but we watched it 400 times just to make sure it's those guys. Justice is served. And otherwise, this is the best country in the world. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, I have to say. I've lived in a couple of other countries. I like this one the best. Because at least I'm armed here. And I'm going to go back to calling CQ on 12 meters as Kilo Fox 5 Sierra Lima November. I think I'll do some CW.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And I think you should always be on the CW.
I'm always on the CWs. We're going to do another show on Thursday. The club, sounds like the club will open on Thursday, so we look forward to seeing all of you there. With some support for us, we'd like to see that donor segment a little bit longer. Don't mind. And with that, I say kittens and courage. Coming to you from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I remain, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Thursday, right here on No Agenda.
Bitch, look it up, it's science.
That's one hot
Growth.
baby.
Bhutan!
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA